the mindset, like I said before, is always going 1-0. Love where we're at. We're in a great spot, and just got to keep, stacking days and hopefully, trending up and continue to play our best ball, towards the end of the season.
With Doug Russell.
It does mean something.
Nick Bruzowitz.
Beat him up in private.
And Dave Gasper.
Let's stay up all night long.
From Monroe Street to Lombardi Avenue.
There is your dagger.
This is your daily deep dive into the teams we love and the games we watch.
Touchdown, Wisconsin. And there it is. The Brewers will punch a ticket to the postseason.
Now here's Doug Russell.
And good Thanksgiving Eve. Good. I guess Drunksgiving is actually tonight. Is that when the official holiday of Drunksgiving begins? When it's quitting time for everyone?
I think so, yeah. Blackout Wednesday, whatever name you want to call it, and give it Drunksgiving, yeah.
I hope it hasn't started already. I mean, everyone be safe out there.
We're not off the clock yet.
We're not off the clock yet. I just sent Armin and Billy home. I said, get the you-know-what out of here.
Yeah.
Because we're all working tomorrow. Well, Nick, you're not working tomorrow, Nick.
Well, I will be doing the J&K Security Solutions basketball post.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Nick
and I have that.
Never mind then. You guys are working tomorrow. We're all working tomorrow.
Yay! We get holiday pay for that, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. As far as I know.
No. It's the exact same as regular.
Oh,
I don't think it exists for us. But
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. We get to eat.
Is the night where those that never left home are superstars, because everyone comes back home and they see all the folks that never left. You know what I mean? Hey, welcome back. I've been waiting for you. Guy who's never left, still lives with mom.
You sound like Nick sounds triggered.
Yeah. Is there a story behind this?
Because, I mean, as we
animosity.
know, you're from Ripon, but went to school at Madison. So having, I went to UW Oshkosh, Dave went to La Crosse. And when you say you're from a certain place, and it's reversed, I think, for Nick in a certain sense, because when I went to Oshkosh and, being from the Milwaukee area, being from Waukesha, you go up to Oshkosh and you meet kids from, Rhinelander or Ashland or Campbellsport or all the smaller Mauston, all of the smaller.
I got a buddy in Mauston I met in college.
Wonderful. I've got a friend. Well, I shouldn't say I have a friend. I have a former friend. We didn't have a falling out. He just left. I never heard from him again.
But we haven't talked since.
We just haven't talked in 35 years. From Ashland, Wisconsin, which I didn't know where Ashland was until he pointed it out on a map, and it's way up
north there on the hand on the map. It's like the tip of the.
It's flipping you off is what it is.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the hand of the map.
Yeah.
It's the one that's telling you, what for. But when you say that you're from, it's a big city. That's the big, it's so big there. And then you get a friend who's from Chicago. I mean, proper city of Chicago. And that's
not
even
Naperville.
Bigger. Not Naperville.
Yeah.
Proper city,
Where I was born in Naperville.
Yeah.
Well, happy Naperville. I've been to Naperville. And so you have different perspectives. I would imagine that it would be reverse for Nick because Ripon, and I have nothing but love for Ripon. That's where I began my radio career, as I've said a couple of times. Out on Radio Road on what is now WRPN, but at the time was WCWC AM 1600. So nothing but love for Ripon. But if Nick is going to Madison and then going back home to Ripon, I would imagine that your friends from Ripon who perhaps never left are asking about the big city of Madison.
Yeah, I think that most of my friends left. All of them left. I mean, the group of guys and buddies I had and gals I was friendly with, they all went different places. We had a graduating class of 110 maybe in Ripon.
Okay.
We were really small the average there was like 145 and we were like 110. Okay. So we were a small group and we had like 14 of us go to UW-Madison.
That seems like a lot.
Oh, man.
My sophomore year was me and 3 of my class of 2019 graduating buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And then my junior year was me and 4 others that graduated from Ripon High School in 2019. So there was 5 dudes all graduated from the same class, all living together here in Madison. So, I mean, and those are like some of my closest friends from high school into college. So our experiences are kind of shared. We all went from one place to Madison, now back home. And I don't drink, so that's probably the largest problem here.
Yeah.
So like if I'm going to go out and then be like, schmoozing with some of the old buddies or those.
You want to be sociable,
peripheral friends.
Ordering the kitty cocktail.
I'm not a huge fan. It's a good time to see some friends when you're home, but like, I'm not into it for the sport of drinking. So it's like, I'm just there.
Okay.
So it's not as much of a blackout Wednesday for me than it is, I don't know. Just go home Wednesday.
The choice,
spend time with family Wednesday.
The choice to not drink is by far the healthier option. I mean, they keep coming out with study after study after study about how alcohol is terrible for you. It's too late for me, I guess.
Too late for a lot of us.
But it is part of the
Doug
culture.
Russell Memorial Studio.
Sure. You joke, but it's just the culture of Wisconsin. I mean, every time you see some study of the drunkest cities in America, it's all just Wisconsin lit up in red. And then there's this one tiny dot and people are like, is that a dry county? It's like, no, that's Lake Winnebago.
Yeah, it's just a lake.
Just a lake. So it is an outlier, I suppose. But tonight is kind of the traditional, for some, the kickoff to the Thanksgiving week of celebrations, because, of course, Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving, and that's standalone. But tonight is Drunksgiving. Then there's Black Friday, Small Business Saturday. Is there anything on Sunday? Do we have anything
I don't
Sunday?
think so.
Is
I think
anything
just
on
NFL football.
Just football on Sunday.
Okay. Well, there's NFL football on Friday now, as well as another game on
Sunday. We
Thursday.
Rest.
On Sunday we rest because there's only 8 games instead of the usual 12.
We rest. We go to church on Sunday, and then back at it for Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday.
More shopping.
And now they've added Travel Tuesday.
Oh, where are we traveling to?
I don't know.
I'm in.
I saw where it was Travel Tuesday, and you guys know me. It's like, if there's a cruise to be had, it popped up on the news. We were watching the news, Erica and I, the other night, and it popped up that Travel Tuesday's now a thing. And I just turned to her and said, "Want to go somewhere?"
There we go.
Because, you don't get to go anywhere during football season. You get to go to Green Bay and Madison and back. That's basically all you get to.
That's generally about it. But yeah, well, now you got to plan that next vacation. Got to book the travel for the next trip, wherever it is. Whatever the next national park is on your list, because I'm sure you've got several still lined up.
Well, we've done 30, and there's 63 of them. So the next one is going to be Haleakala National Park, and that one's already scheduled for February 15th. And then Hawaii Volcanoes National Park is scheduled for February 17th.
Oh, beautiful.
So
all right,
those are already knocked down.
All right, so you got 2 in the queue already. So now Travel Tuesday, you get the deals put in place, and you get the third one put in the queue.
Let's do it. We got to hit the halfway point. That's what we got to do.
Exactly.
So
and famously, we got more time coming up. So.
Haleakala, Haleakala, I think. Haleakala. It's on Maui.
Yeah, it's the Hawaiian spelling.
There it is.
Hey, Fonzie. I'm glad you joined the show, Fonz.
Hey, there he is. Hey, and by the way, Nick's here too.
Hey.
I was trying to spell that. I didn't know how.
Haleakala. Haleakala. It is what it's famous for is you get up at 3 a.m. and
I'm out.
But then you get to the top and then there's a slight hike, but you're driving like through the clouds and up through the clouds, and then you watch the sunrise over the clouds and through the mountains.
Wow.
It looks nice on picture.
Yes, I'm hoping that it looks as nice in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Hope you don't have a cloudy day.
I hope I do have a cloudy day, because you want to be above the clouds, because that's where it gets interesting. I don't like.
Do you have to bring an oxygen tank?
No.
Any one of those travel oxygen things? Have you ever had
Doug's
to do that?
done a lot of hiking. He's in good shape there.
Yeah.
Right.
I've done a lot of 10,000 foot elevation hikes. I'm fine. That's fine.
I see those travel like air can things.
He's not climbing Mount Everest.
No, that is not on the bucket list, because if it was on the bucket list, that's where the bucket would be deployed.
Yeah, that's where the bucket list ends.
Yeah.
You save that one for last.
Do you know how many dead bodies? Here's a fun thought for Thanksgiving. Do you know how many dead bodies are littered on Mount Everest?
A lot.
Thousands.
They're landmarks.
They
essentially.
They are.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you see the person in the green boots. Okay, you've reached this point.
Mhm.
Like,
that's not a joke either. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's your cheery thought for the day, everybody.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm so poor I can't afford to go hiking on Mount Everest anyway.
Who can afford it? I mean, that's crazy. Because you have to hire a Sherpa.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not worth it.
No.
In my
Yeah,
opinion.
I see too many people attempting and failing. I see all the horror stories. I always wonder when people bring their pets up there too. Like,
what?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, like they have people like to take their dogs on hikes and stuff. So you'll see this stuff. I swear to God.
Well, regular hikes versus Mount Everest hikes
I'm
are
talking
two
about
completely different
online.
things.
I've seen plenty of people on maybe not Mount Everest, but on not necessarily just a regular hike, bringing their pets to locations that are certainly not suitable.
Well, I see it sometimes where you bring, like, some dogs like to hike.
Yeah. There's some dogs that actually do well, like, in mountains and hiking.
What park were we at? I think it was
Bernie's Mountain Dog.
I think the most recent one was the bye week we went to Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And there was this guy who we were hiking along a trail, and this guy had his dog with him not on a leash, but like throwing the ball, and the dog would like be running down into the forest and coming back and getting it. I'm like, is he ever gonna get lost or anything like it? Nah, he loves it. And the dog did. Dog loved it.
Yeah.
Dog was well behaved. Dog didn't poop anywhere that he wasn't supposed to poop.
Okay.
Went out and got the ball. So listen, if the dog's trained, whatever.
All right. That works.
So
yeah.
So
Travel Tuesday. That sounds like a fun time.
That's a new one. A new one.
Yeah, gotta start booking it.
Do you guys have any good Black Friday? Have you looked at any Black Friday deals yet?
Yeah, I've been looking around for some stuff. It's mostly been looking around stuff that I'm kind of wanting, rather than trying to look at stuff that I'm getting because
this is new pressure for you this year.
Oh yeah. I got that to look at as well. So some extra gifts to add on there. So yeah, I'll kind of be looking around here in the coming days, but I don't really do my Christmas shopping that early. I mean, I'm more of a later person Christmas shopping, because I feel like some of these deals have just gotten way out of hand because now we're seeing Black Friday deals like the week or two before Black Friday. Like it used to be like you had to get up super early. You have to be waiting in line at the store at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. when they open. And you're beating everyone else to the store, trying to get one of 3 TVs that are on sale, all this, whatever else. And now it's just like, oh yeah, Black Friday is 2 weeks before Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
What? That doesn't even make any sense.
And are they really deals, right? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. I mean, they sell these things as massive deals. Do they upcharge to then drop the charge, and then you end up saving 15% instead of the 50 it says? Like, I mean, there's questions to be had. I've never been a Black Friday guy. I am very protective of my cash, especially when you don't make as much as you wish you would. You can be very territorial and very concerned with how much
a big
money
pile,
you're
but
spending on things. Right. So I like to watch that bank account go up. So
sure.
I
chose
have
the
to
wrong
be very
business
frugal.
for that, but
I have to be very frugal. So we'll see. Black Friday shopping isn't necessarily my thing. When it comes to Christmas, it's like I will go on December 23rd and walk around the mall until I find enough stuff for everybody.
So here's where Black Friday does come into play, and I think it's for you guys. Now, granted, you think I had enough money when I was in my 20s? I did not. I promise you.
Yeah.
But so a couple of weeks ago, Black Friday sale started early, and it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And Erica and I told each other, it's like, we're not going to get anything for each other this year because our birthday is January 1st. And we've got a couple of trips that are planned that are not cheap next year.
Right.
So let's just save some of our money for that. But she bought me a pair of travel headphones because we got a 9-hour flight, actually 2 9-hour flights because you got to get back.
Right.
And they were normally.
You want to come back?
No. I said have to come back.
Okay.
There's the two big differences there. So a pair of headphones that were normally like $350 were $125.
Yeah.
That is a Black Friday trade. That is a Black Friday deal.
You got to do it.
And these headphones are never on sale.
Yeah.
Never. But they were on Black Friday.
Got to do it.
So she's like, you want these? I'm like, do I need them? No.
You got to do what you got to do.
Do I want them? Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not going to say no.
I'm not going to say no.
Not going to say no.
And now I have them.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to me.
There you go.
Black Friday to me.
There you go. Love it. My Black Friday is going to consist of, putting together the calendar of Millie photos that I have of my dog.
See, now that's fun.
My family knows this is coming like every single year, but yeah, I make a calendar and the pictures on the calendar are pictures of my dog, and they are adorable.
Do you print that out?
Yeah,
Do you
I go to like Shutterstock or whatever, and like I just make it there, and yeah, just have them send calendars, and that's the Christmas gifts.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't hate that.
Millie is very photogenic, and so I've got a lot of pictures to choose from. So that's really going to be the tough part, is narrowing down the amount of pictures.
Nick, what are you going to celebrate 12 months of next year?
12
months of Nick.
Not know.
Nick, pictures of Nick interviewing Badgers players.
Yeah, it would be a digital one, and it would have audio, and it would just be a compilation of me saying Nick Brucewood's here, Nick Brucewood's here, Nick Brucewood's here, Nick Brucewood's here with Nick Brucewood. I did that with the Heller post show videos. I did a post show video every day, and it literally was like, just wrapped up, just got done with, just wrapped up, just got done with, just finished, just wrapped up. I was on Twitter just scrolling. Because I did the same thing almost every video. So
nice.
Yeah, I haven't locked in to do post show videos yet for this program quite yet. But the reality is, I don't know what I'd celebrate for 12 months. I don't have a pet quite yet of my personal ownership. Mom just got another dog.
Well, that's why I said, 12 months of Nick interviewing. Well, we got Ricardo Hallman, Badgers cornerback, coming up later on today.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to that. Wayne Larrivee is traveling today. He will not be able to join us on today's program, unfortunately. So we will have to hear from Wayne tomorrow when he's making the call of the Packers and Lions. As everybody's traveling, the traveling party is leaving today. So there's no practice today. There's no media availability today. They did a lot of media availability yesterday. So we'll replay some Matt LaFleur. We'll replay some Micah Parsons, replay some Jordan Love. It is, whenever they have a Thursday game after a Sunday game, it's just, the schedule is weird.
Yeah.
On every level, it's just weird. And I don't think that it makes for the best football. This is the second time this year that the Packers have had to have the quick turnaround, but it is what it is. You get the mini bye afterwards. So we will not hear from Wayne Larrivee, but we will hear from some of the particulars, some of the principals that will be playing tomorrow. Quick scheduling note, tomorrow Packers game day starts at 8 a.m. And then if you are on the Game Radio Network and not the Packers Radio Network, we will have best of for the rest of the day here on the Game Radio Network. Packers Radio Network affiliates will be able to, of course, then hear the game starting with Packers Preview with Dennis Krause, Drew Olson, and the gang. That starts at 10 a.m. and will go until, depends on how fast the game is, either 5 or 6 tomorrow. So that's your Thanksgiving. So what are you looking forward to most on Thanksgiving? Is it football? Is it, well, we're all working.
Yeah.
Is it family? Is it seeing everyone, but then getting away from everyone? Because you used to work. It being over. Well, for a lot of people, I mean, Dave, you used to work at the Marcus Theater, the Marcus Majestic.
Yeah.
It is statistically the busiest night of the year for movie theaters.
Yeah.
Because, and I asked that question one time, why do you think that is? And somebody high up in the Marcus company said, I'm going to be honest with you, and I will deny it if you ever attach my name to this, but I think it's because people want to get away from their families. People are sick.
Yeah.
People are sick of their families, and they've got nowhere to go because a lot of people come into town and they spend all day with their families, and they're like, okay.
How can I kill 3 hours and get away from them?
This visit is great, and we're stuck here overnight. So maybe let's go see a movie or 2 or 3.
Yeah. Hang out there with the bartender.
So what are you most looking
Not
for?
every movie theater has a bar.
Yeah, but
your fancy movie theaters have bars.
This is a thing. Marcus Majestic is nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. And a lot of Marcus, I'm pretty sure all the Marcus leaders have the Take 5 Lounge. So
not mine and Ripon, the original Marcus Theater.
Oh, well,
is that the first one?
It's the very first.
I did not know that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. No idea. You learn something new every day.
One single screen.
That's probably why they don't have a bar.
No bar. There are plenty of bars. Tall Paul's not far down the road.
Oh, yeah. Is that where everyone's hanging out, coming back, reliving their high school glory days?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the spot. That's the spot where I'll be if I am in attendance for tonight's blackout activities.
Are you going to be reliving your high school glory days, just telling the stories of Ripon High School?
Yeah,
running the town.
Probably not. Not much there. I mean, I had a good time. Don't get me wrong, but I was a good student. Didn't do anything crazy. Never really got into much trouble.
Nick was
except for when you got thrown into the hole in middle school.
That was in middle school. That was the box.
and
box,
that curved your behavior, and then you were a model citizen after that. After you were thrown in solitary confinement in a 6x6 concrete box.
I mean, I had my issues, my problems on occasion, but
save that as a drop.
But it never really turned into much of an issue for me from repercussions. I didn't do anything that crazy in high school. Middle school was fun because, like I said, you don't really feel the responsibility of getting good grades because the grades were not real grades. They were 1, 2, 3, or 4.
All right, so here's what we want on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line today. Yeah, we'll talk some football. We got still to come. Joe Bartel will join us from RotoWire, gives you some fantasy football advice. Also an author, Rich Podolsky. He'll join us coming up a little bit later on in the 12 o'clock hour as well. He wrote a new book about Madden and Summerall. If you are of that age, you'll really enjoy this conversation coming up. Also, Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal will join us. As I mentioned, Ricardo Hallman had a chance to catch up with Nick after practice this week. They've got their last game coming up on Saturday against Minnesota. Like I mentioned, Matt LaFleur, Micah Parsons, Jordan Love, they all met the media yesterday. We'll play back a portion of their comments as well. We'll talk about who the team is to beat in the NFC North. Got a lot of sports to talk about today. That having been said, I want to know you're going home from either college or moving away, coming back to your hometown, meeting your buddies at the bar. Does anybody have any good stories about that? I want some good stories today as it's Thanksgiving Eve leading into tonight's Drunksgiving. 877-794-1973. Again, 877-794-1973. We are just getting started. Doug, Nick, and Dave, D.N.D. on the game.
I've ever known, like a blind dog without a bone. I was a gypsy lost in the twilight zone. I hijacked a rainbow and crashed into a pot of gold.
Is this the song that was requested?
No,
Oh.
no, it was not.
Somebody
No,
co-
she didn't even finish telling me the song request because I'm like, man, this is not the country music or the Christmas music station.
Should have taken the request anyway.
Yeah. Oh well.
I'm not
Talking
saying you
about first
necessarily had to
concerts.
play it.
Dierks Bentley might have been my first concert.
Might have been.
Well, we've tried to ascertain exactly who your first concert was
Yeah,
on
I
a
mean,
couple
these
of different
moments, like-
occasions.
Like I said, I might legitimately have issues with retention and recall. I could never pinpoint it. I think that if you count Country USA as my first concert,
I mean, if
that
you
I
went
like
there, sure.
willingly wanted to attend. I went to Rock USA before I ever went to Country USA, but I didn't want to go. My buddy,
That doesn't mean you
we're
didn't
gonna go.
attend.
I was there. So Godsmack was the headliner at Rock USA.
Okay.
So
That's a hell of a first concert.
if that's how we want to go about it, Godsmack might have been my first concert. I can't recall something prior to that. I was like 16 or 17.
I went to a Bodines concert that I don't remember, but that was because I was too drunk. But nevertheless,
I
that's
was
neither here
sober.
nor there.
Yeah, there's a
But-
lot of things that I don't remember necessarily, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean it didn't happen.
But I mean, Godsmack was the headliner, so I couldn't even tell you who the previous two acts on the stage were before them, and if they were to count for my first concert. But Dierks was the headliner at Country USA when I went. So yeah, I mean, Tyler Farr, John Party, and then Dierks Bentley
Sure.
were the three on the stage.
there you go.
Dierks pretty good. I like Dierks.
I saw John Party and Maren Morris at the rave right before they got big. So that was a good.
That's
show.
cool.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
There you go. Yeah. I remember seeing Nate Smith at the Class of show a couple of years ago out in Madison that
Okay.
we do over on the country station down the hall. So
I just talked
yeah,
to Shannon
great
a few
guy.
minutes ago. She is putting together the next one.
yeah,
Famously
they got their
pregnant.
lineup out.
Agent Crystalani writes, my wife Karina and I saw the new Wicked for Good last night, and it was a very good and entertaining movie. So people are still going to the movie theaters.
There we
I
go.
love the movie theater. I'm a purist. I go at least 3 times a year for sure.
And he's at the Marcus Theater. So
We used to
there
go
we
3
And
times
they're
a
at the
month.
bar.
Man, we used to go all the time to the movie.
I would do it if I could. I would, but it's not something I will probably ever do alone. So I need people to partake with me, and more often than not, that's my girlfriend who would have to, and she's not against it, but she's not into going as often as I would be for sure.
See, here's the difference. I'm more than happy to go to the movie theater
Same.
alone.
Absolutely.
Like
Same.
I've done it on numerous occasions.
She'd get up at 7 a.m. I'd get up right with her. She'd go to her meetings. I'd wander around the city. I'd take the subway
Yeah.
everywhere. I'm really good at amusing myself.
Yeah. Here's my favorite local pizza joint, Sbarro.
Two brothers. No.
And-
Yeah.
Two brothers in New York City. There are locations in all the 5 boroughs.
Yep.
But been to the one, walked to the one in Brooklyn, walked across the Brooklyn Bridge, walked along Flatbush, over to Barclays Center. Then I took the subway back to Lincoln Center because I hadn't been to Lincoln Center yet, and then kind of wandered my way through past the Dakota over to Strawberry Fields down through Central Park. It was great. I loved it. But yeah, in that same vein, I'll go to movie theaters by myself all the time.
yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. If there's a movie I want to go see and it's like, well, I got time here and no one else wants to go. All right. Well, I
I've
guess I'm
never
going by
done it.
myself.
I've never done it. I mean, inevitably, maybe I will at some point down the road. But I've never done it. And, some people say the same thing about sports. Like, hey, I want to go to the game. No one wants to go with me. I'll go alone.
Yeah.
I've never done that. I don't know. I don't know. It feels wrong. Feels wrong to go by yourself.
I used to go to
Yeah.
games when I lived in
It's part of-
Houston. Erica
yeah.
was still up here. She never moved to Houston. So we kind of did the long distance thing
Wow.
for a while.
Wow.
Kind of did the long distance
That's
thing for a
tough.
while. But I would go to Astros games or Rockets games. The Houston Aeros were still playing in the AHL back then as well. I'd go to hockey games by myself all the time. Now I was working during football season, so I would either have to cover a Texas A&M game or a University of Houston or a Rice game or a Texans game. But baseball games, I went, and the Astros were terrible. So it was get your own section night back in the day. They were losing 100 games every year. But no, I would go all the time. Oh, it was great. Like Dave said, you don't have to deal with anybody else's schedule. How long you want to stay? I want to stay till I want to leave.
Yeah.
That's how long I want to stay.
I want to go to concessions, right? I want to get this. Well, I don't want to get up right now. Okay. You know, it's like I can do that. It's the same thing when I went on a solo trip last year to Myrtle Beach. It's just a solo vacation.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Nothing
got to
wrong
worry
with
about
that.
anyone else saying, I want to see this. I want to go to that. Let's go here. I got to stop for this. I'm hungry. Like, it's all your own schedule.
Yeah.
It's great. It's fantastic. Highly recommend.
But now you're coupled up.
Yeah.
So those days
there are perks of that, though. You know, there are perks of that.
I mean,
so
yeah.
I would
Sure.
hope,
Yeah.
I would hope you're more satisfied now, but
right.
I guess,
Yeah.
you know, some people like to be alone. I like the rare occasion where I am alone. But the summer after COVID,
Then
so
the thoughts start to creep in.
2021, that summer, I was alone in Madison at my apartment, and it was like 2 months. You know, I did not enjoy being alone all day, every day. I had summer classes,
Nick's a
but they
people
were all
person.
online.
Yeah.
They were all online. So I was like in my apartment all day long. And then eventually I had to have a toenail removal. So then I was in a little, you know, crutches type situation. Not quite, but I was just alone tending to my wounds by myself while doing summer classes. It was not.
So this all tracks
Fantastic.
because yesterday I was in the Madison office and it seemed like Nick was kind of the ringleader and the one that everybody wanted to hang out with more than anybody else.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, I am
He's
I'm
the
one
social
of the young
butterfly
guns around
of
here.
Fish Hatchery Road.
Yeah, a lot of good memories from yesterday's gathering. I mean, that was probably the most special thing from a company standpoint that I've been a part of so far. Just, I mean, that everyone was willing to hang out, share stories. It was very much Thanksgiving at the office. So it worked out well for Doug to be here.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, he just happened to be here when there was food.
Yeah, would
Just
have been nice.
happened to show up.
I walked in and I'm like, oh, what's this? I don't know what's going on today, but it looks like there's going to be some sort of social gathering. And there was.
That's right.
And what my favorite part of it was, so we're on from 10 until 2. The food started at noon. And then, so we were still on the air for like a couple of hours when everyone, including the boss, was coming over to the window of our studio saying, wrap it up, let's go. I'm like, we're on the air for 2 more hours.
Come find us, take pictures, get food. So every break we got to reload up our plates. And then when the show concluded, we were able to hang around and have a nice time. I think that iHeart's a pretty big company, right? I mean, it's a huge media giant.
Yeah.
And for it to be, at least on a local level, feel like a local feeling.
It was cool.
It was cool.
It was
a
really
nice
cool.
feeling. But I don't know what else it is.
I had
that people
screwdrivers
do
with Vicky
solo.
McKenna for the first time ever. That was
Right,
fun.
and you were not too many, and you were well off the air, right? At that
I was
point.
well off the air. I had plenty enough to sober up before I had to drive home. I was there for a few hours. I was there hanging out with the team that I don't get to see very often for a couple hours. Really, it was really neat. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it would have been nicer for me to be up there too, because you know I miss those Madison people as well. You know, spending a couple of years up there. So yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to have fun, and I enjoyed my my frozen pizza down here. It was not quite apple pie, but you know it was good.
Katie, the morning show producer on WIBA, made a fantastic. So I'm glad somebody made an apple pie because there were like 5 pumpkin pies there, but Katie made the apple pie, and the company person that she is, she put the iHeart logo, kind of baked the iHeart logo on it.
Baked it in. It rose.
Wow.
It was incredible.
It was great.
It was a good time, Dave. But
she's gunning for a promotion, I can tell.
She might get it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Let's see. Ted in the 920 says his first concert was the Lamb of God in the Eagles Ballroom in 2006.
Ooh. Wow. Is that Pipe Bomb's burner account that's texting in?
I don't know.
That sounds like it might be Pipe Bomb's burner.
Let's see. Jeff in Fitchburg. I live 3 blocks from the iHeart studio on Fish Hatch. Maybe invite myself to lunch someday. Or no, he's maybe he's asking
he'd
for
like
an
an invite. Yeah.
Maybe he would like an invite to lunch someday. I'm sorry, I misread that.
yeah.
Listen, I wasn't even invited. I just crashed the party.
Yeah.
That's right. He did. He really did. And he ate all the foods except for the turkey.
I ate ham. Here's what I had. I had a little bit of ham. I had some mashed potatoes. I like mashed potatoes.
Of course.
Didn't have any of the gravy
How could you
because
not?
gravy's disgusting.
What?
I don't like gravy.
Oh my goodness.
What else was there? They had some sort of pastry that had like caramelized nuts in it. It was good. I don't know what it was, but it was good. And then I had some apple pie. That's all I had. I didn't gorge myself.
There you go.
But I also had some
You're
screwdrivers.
saving that for tomorrow.
But I also had some screwdrivers with Vicky McKenna.
There
That
were
was
some
fun.
rolls.
Oh, there we go. Vicky.
Doug famously broke No Nut November eating nuts on that croissant yesterday.
I've never believed in that.
I mean, it was close. He almost made it to the end of the month, but terrible shame.
I broke that one on day one.
Oh. Yikes.
All right, Doug.
I was talking about cashews and pistachios.
What else?
And sunflowers.
Why? What else were you talking about?
I
don't know what else you're referring to. All right. Coming up, we will play back some of Matt LaFleur's comments. Also, Micah Parsons met the media. Jordan Love met the media. Who's the best team in the NFC North? We'll actually get down to some business coming up in just a few minutes as well. Keep your stories coming. If you've got any good first anything stories, first concert stories, that would be great, because apparently as we continue to unpeel the onion that is Nick Brusewitz, maybe it was Dierks Bentley.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You got any good solo trip experiences? Would love to hear about that.
Yeah.
So
Thanksgiving time.
Happy
reflecting on life stories.
Happy
And how many
Drunksgiving,
stories are we going to tell for the 50th time? Nick, remember that time? Mom, we talked about
you
this.
have trouble with retention, apparently, so maybe
Clearly,
they do need to replay some of these stories.
That's fair. That is fair.
It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave. Stay with us on the game. We'll get down to some business coming up soon, I promise. Stay with us. It's D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Brizowitz, Dave Gasper on this day before Thanksgiving edition of the program. Normally, we would have Wayne Larrivee on the air at this point, but they are traveling today, so no availability for Wayne or any of the players. No Matt LaFleur today. No Micah Parsons today. No Jordan Love. But they all met the media yesterday, so we'll replay some of their comments coming up in the
Hope you're ready
11
for
o'clock
nothing. That Nathan Fielder clip where he pulls off the top.
I hope you're hungry for nothing.
Yeah.
But just
that's what we got from them today.
Well, just from them.
Wayne,
but we have more than nothing here on this show. I mean, if you're listening to us, I mean, we're going to have plenty more than that to make up for it.
Absolutely. Joe Bartel will join us. Rich Podolsky, who is an author of a new book about John Madden and Pat Summerall and how the turducken came to be, among other things. Also, we will hear from Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal coming up in the 1 o'clock hour of the program. Ricardo Hallman, Badgers cornerback. Speaking of the Badgers, our friend Nick Osen reports that there is a new offensive lineman that is not headed to Boston College, but rather headed to Madison.
This is breaking news.
Big news.
From Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
I mean, a lot of pomp and circumstance for a flip, but Brady Beckenheis, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not.
Looks about right to me.
Looks like it, yeah.
Composite 4-star lineman has flipped from Boston College to Wisconsin, which is good. That's,
There we go.
that's what we want to see. We want to see the Badgers, bring in some hog mollies.
He is a higher rated recruit than both Novak and Cochran, who decommitted within the last 2 weeks. So that way to go. I mean, you had resources certainly open up, I'm assuming, when you lose the first two guys. And they brought in at least one now here ahead of the signing period, which is next week. So it's going to be very exciting to know that they have at least one offensive lineman coming in the class of 2026.
How many positions can he play at the same time? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. 6'6", 290. And I mean, his hometown is Arlington, Massachusetts. So to flip him from Boston College to Wisconsin, like when he's a Massachusetts kid, I mean, that's not going to be easy.
Well, we're talking about some of the investments that Chris McIntosh has promised.
Yeah.
And if it takes, a couple extra bucks to flip you from your hometown team to come to Madison, okay. Listen, if you're going to be one of the big boys, you got to play with the big boys. You got to pay like the big boys. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
In order to get the big boys.
In order to get the
6'6", 290.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't ever want to see like a Billy Schrouther or Carson Hintzman go to Notre Dame or Ohio State ever again. And listen, I said it till I'm blue. I don't blame the kids. I don't blame them for taking the bag and going where they needed to go. I don't ever want to see that again.
Yeah.
I want to see these blue blood offensive linemen that are from Wisconsin go to Wisconsin.
Absolutely.
And bring in some guys from Boston and college as well.
Yeah, exactly. Get your running backs from Jersey.
Suck it, Bill O'Brien. That's right. I mean,
that's right. He's over there now.
Yeah.
They are terrible at Boston College. So I don't blame this kid for deciding, you know what? I'm going to take my talents to central Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Take my talents to Lake Mendota Beach.
That's
Not a bad place to take your talents.
Yeah.
I said it a million times. You get to live in Madison, Wisconsin. You're already standing on third base.
Today it is 30 degrees, feels like 2. It's a very chilly, windy,
quite the
snowy
wind chill.
day. It is frigid, but most of the year, beautiful.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. Right now, maybe not.
Well, but
that goes for all of Wisconsin. And Massachusetts also has the same kind of. Massachusetts has snow too.
Sure.
So they are well aware of winter over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when Micah Parsons came to Green Bay. Oh, it's all of these guys, all of these big name players. Whether it's Josh Jacobs, whether it's Xavier McKinney, whether it's Micah Parsons. Oh, you're going to Green Bay. Green Bay, Wisconsin used to be the Siberia of professional sports. Forget just Siberia, the NFL. It was Siberia of professional sports. Nobody wanted to come to Green Bay. The glory days were over. Small market, old dilapidated stadium, because let's be honest, it was before they rebuilt. Excuse me, before they rebuilt it in the early 2000s.
It's my understanding that you're a USC fan.
Yeah.
When OJ ended up in Buffalo, that was a similar feeling.
It was. I mean, I wasn't around for it,
but
terrible weather. Bad franchise at the time.
Yep.
It would make someone kill to get out of town.
Well, he was famously out of town and well back into the warm climate at that point. But yeah, it's so interesting how that can be I think people would kill to be on the Bills now.
I think they
and
would.
They definitely want to be on the Packers now.
And they've got, and the Bills, they're building a new stadium. The Packers continue to reinvest into the facility that they have. But Micah Parsons is from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's not like he's from a huge town. He went to Penn State. And when you go to Penn State, or when you go to, like Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney, you go to Alabama, you know what those towns are all about? Those towns are all about ball.
Yep.
And you know what Green Bay is all about? Ball.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to go there, and you don't have any of the distractions. And, it's like I said, when you go to a place like Dallas, there's a lot of ancillary nonsense for a football player. And maybe that's one of the reasons that the Cowboys have not been successful over the last 30 years. Las Vegas, the Raiders, one of the most dysfunctional teams, I think, in the NFL. Their facilities are magnificent now, but they can't win a game to save their lives, it seems. The New York Giants, kind of the same thing. The glitz and glamour of Manhattan is just across the Hudson River. You've got it's Gotham. There's anything and everything is at your fingertips if you're a millionaire in New York City. But it's not all about ball. And the Giants and Jets suck. And there's perhaps some ancillary reasons for that. You go to Green Bay, and you're used to winning when it's all about ball. It's just a great atmosphere. And I think that's one of the reasons that all of these guys have not only succeeded here, but have thrived here in Green Bay. It has become once again a destination. It has become once again what it was, and what it was the Mecca of football. And the investments that they've made into Lambeau Field, not only the stuff that fans see, but yeah, that's an important part of it, because you've got the Atrium, you got the Packers Hall of Fame, you got the stadium tours that nobody has more stadium tours, I think, than Lambeau Field, because they are constantly running them through the media areas up there, because we see them all the time, which is great. I want everyone to be able to experience Lambeau Field, whether it's on a tour or at a game. I don't think many other stadiums have that and do that. But also what you don't see, what we never see, even in the media, what they've done with the player facilities and amenities. Players are parking underground now. That's important to players now, where you don't have to park outside. You've got the indoor, there's a smaller indoor facility where they can do just walkthroughs. They call it the Crick, that is attached to Lambeau Fields, where you don't have to go across the street to the Don Hudson Center anymore. You can just park inside, run through your walkthrough, and then, go do your lift. They've made investments into the hydrotherapy. They've made investments into the trainer's room, into the weight room, things like that. All of that stuff is important. I bring a lot of that up because those are some of the things that they're trying to build in Madison as well, with the new practice facility that they're attaching to Camp Randall Stadium that's currently under construction right now. All these facilities are important because when you're an elite player, you want to be in a place where you feel like you're supported, but you also want to feel like it's all about ball. And that's one of the reasons I think the Packers are successful.
And the Badgers add an offensive line. You add one more offensive lineman to your team next year. That's a win for the Badgers to flip him from Boston College earlier today.
Absolutely. All right. We'll look forward to hearing from Dave Gasper, top of the hour sports update coming up. Coming up in the next hour, we'll hear from Matt LaFleur. We'll hear from Micah Parsons. We'll hear from Jordan Love. Continue to hear from you on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line as well. 877-794-1973. Joe Bartel will give us some fantasy football help from RotoWire. Really looking forward to the conversation with author Rich Podolsky as well.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Well, Matt LaFleur spoke yesterday. Keyshawn Nixon has been a big piece of this Packers secondary this year as CB1 left with a stinger on Sunday. Matt LaFleur gave an update on his recovery.
Yeah, all those. I mean, a lot of these guys are making progress. Unfortunately, you're kind of up against it when you're talking about a Thursday night football. So we'll see where they're at. Obviously, he's a guy that we would absolutely give up till game time to see if he can go.
So Keyshawn Nixon going to be a game time decision coming up here tomorrow.
It's better than out.
Yes, it
That's
is.
right.
I mean, it's one of the positions that the Packers have been most thin at this season. I think Carrington Valentine's done a nice job over there. Eric Hobbs has not, or Nate Hobbs rather has not, but he's been hurt.
Conflated him with Eric Stokes. It's fair.
Yeah, that's
He
true
thinks
because
Stokes
they
like
both went
production.
to and Stokes went to the Raiders, so it wasn't a trade, but it could have been a trade. No, I mean Nate Hobbs hasn't been great this year by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, if Keyshawn Nixon can be back, that would be ideal. But you also want him out there healthy. I remember Kevin King was never great, but when he was injured, he was lethal to the Packers. Just ask Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
Yeah, that is true. Kevin King, not great. TJ Watt could have been a Packer instead. I got lucky, and he's a Steeler. When you look at the cornerbacks, I think this is a massive concern. If you do not have Nixon, you're trying to line up against two incredibly talented wide receivers in Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to ask Bo Melton, a wide receiver, to guard them? Or are you going to ask Kamal Haddon, who is certainly a fringe rostered player now, to step up big? If they can have Keyshawn out there, that's a massive difference whether he is or isn't there. This is a tough battle, fully healthy. If you're not healthy at corner, I become concerned about their ability to cover.
Yeah, and if the Bucs aren't healthy, I get concerned about their ability to win as they're playing tonight at 6:30 against the 12-6 Miami Heat. Giannis is officially questionable for this game, so perhaps he's pushing to get back to playing sooner rather than later because he sees this team is kind of really bad without him.
Well, yeah, they're circling the drain without him. They've lost 5 in a row. It's NBA Cup play tonight, for whatever that's worth. But it's
they got to defend their title.
They have to defend their title, of course. So, I mean, would you love to see Giannis out there? Yeah, you got to stop the bleeding at some point. This is a very mid to perhaps awful basketball team without their best player. I mean, I declared the window shut yesterday. I still think that it's shut, but you still want to see them put forth an effort.
This is like, and I had to double check because I didn't know. Air Supplies, All Out of Love. The lyrics are pretty pungent here for the Packers or for the Bucs. I'm so lost without you. They're just playing that for Giannis on a daily basis.
Nice Air Supply pull, by the
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, I had to Google it. I was like, "Is this Meatloaf?"
No.
Meatloaf's got different songs. Yeah, Giannis is going to be a bat out of hell one of these upcoming years if he sees this.
We
team
just hope he has
struggle.
more life than Meatloaf does right now.
Yes.
Is Meatloaf dead?
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's quite dead.
Yeah.
I think the guys from Air Supply are still alive, though. I think.
There we go. Positivity.
I did not realize Meatloaf died.
Yeah, he gone.
2022.
Yep. Sad times. But
I mean, it was 3 years ago. So, I mean, rest in peace to his friends and family.
Yeah. It's
wow.
Yeah, tough scene. But in the college football world, we got some coaching carousel movement here recently. Oklahoma State to replace the man Mike Gundy. They have hired the North Texas Mean Green head coach Eric Morris. He's going to be leading the Oklahoma State Cowboys going forward. He's going to stay for the rest of the season with North Texas, and after the season is done, he'll head up to Oklahoma State. North Texas ranked in the top 25.
Well, that's why they plunged him.
Yeah, he's been having a fantastic season there for that school. Really built up that program, and now he's going to Oklahoma State. And also now Jim Mora is going to be leaving UConn, and he is going to become the head coach at Colorado State.
In other news, Jim Mora was at UConn.
Yeah.
Hell of a job he's done there. I think that's it needs to be given credit where credit's due. UConn's pretty good. Skylar Bell, former Badger, is exceptional in that offensive system. So a lot of people had some concerns or frustrations with the Mora decision to go to Colorado State. Felt like it wasn't enough of a jump to leave a successful situation at UConn. I've seen all over the internet, why would you do it? Why would you do it? Colorado State's going to be a part of the new Pac-12. But I don't know. And I don't care. I mean, he coached Mike Vick, if I'm not mistaken, way back with Atlanta. So he's been around for a while in the coaching game.
Yeah, and Jim Mora, and he grew up in football, of course. His dad, Jim Mora Sr., longtime
playoffs,
longtime coach, who gave us that gem that will never go away. But Jim Mora's been around a lot. UConn is a FCS school, correct? And then now he's going to an FBS school. I think that's the difference.
No, UConn is an FBS independent.
They are an FBS now. They used to be an FCS, I think, right? Am I hallucinating?
I do not know. I wish I did know. But I will tell you that they are an FBS currently, and they're an independent. So let's see. Yeah. When did they make the leap?
They're FBS, not currently part of conference. They became independent after leaving the American Athletic Conference, and it's separate from the university's other sports, which are in the Big East, as we know.
Okay.
So
I did not know that. All right. I stand corrected.
Oh, I mean, he's coaching football at a basketball school, essentially. Now he gets head to
But they
Colorado
are
State.
9-3 this season.
That's good.
6-0 at home.
Yeah, not bad. And that's why Colorado State wanted him, apparently.
That's right.
So, and college football playoff rankings came out last night as well. Top 5 remain unchanged. First change, Oregon jumped over Ole Miss, moving up into that 6th spot. So, as we head towards the final week of the regular season, rivalry week, Axe week around here. And then we get conference championship game after that, and then we'll have the bracket.
The bracket?
Yeah. The bracket, the college football playoff bracket.
Oh, yeah.
I was
how long until they expand that to 76 teams as well?
Oh, they better not.
I was surprised, Dave, that you didn't include your boy Caleb Bousley here in this update. As he signed a deal with the Bosley. See, you know him personally, right? Did you play together? Or
we played together.
He signed with the KBO.
No, I did not see that he had signed with the KBO.
KT Wiz for a total of $1 million.
There we go.
Your boy is headed to the KBO.
Well, congrats to my boy Boz. Yeah, he ended up bouncing around. He was with the Rangers for a lot last season. Then he ended up with the Tampa Bay Rays. And then they released him, and now he's going to Korea. And we'll see if he can, make some changes, some adjustments over there, and then come back to Major League Baseball and kind of be like a lot of these other pitchers, like the Eric Fetties of the world, and find some success afterwards.
He can play at Eric Thames Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, there we go.
So he's not dead. It's not Memorial. Additionally, Daz Cameron also heading to the KBO.
The Doosan Bears. Yes. Yeah, so a couple of old acquaintances.
I believe there were. Now, Daz Cameron became the second, I believe. If I'm forgetting someone, I apologize. But I think he became the second father-son duo to play for the Brewers. He and Mike.
Okay.
The first, I believe, was the Franconas. Tito and Terry.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
I don't know if there were any other ones. Tito Francona.
There were 3: Tito and Terry, and Mike and Daz Cameron, and Dave and Derek May.
Dave okay. May. Yeah, Davey May back in the 1970s. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So and Derek played for the team in 1995. Yeah, and then Terry and Tito.
That was a forgettable year. 1990. I'm going to be honest with you. 1995 was a really forgettable year.
Yeah, in Brewers baseball.
And then Tito played in, I think, it might have been 1970, 71, somewhere in there.
70. Yeah, Tito played in 70. Terry played in 89 and 90.
I remember Terry Francona. Again, those were 89 wasn't a bad year. Robin Yount won the MVP in 1989.
Yeah.
And Dave Parker was on the team in 1990, the late Dave Parker.
Yes, the late great Dave Parker.
Yeah, both of them.
Hall of Famer.
Yep, Hall of Famer. Hey, listen, Terry Francona might wind up in the Hall of Fame as a manager someday.
I think he should.
He might.
100%.
He might.
He's been fantastic.
He's been a great manager. He's been a great manager. He was an okay player.
Yeah.
But really, really good manager. All right. Do we hit anything else?
Trevon Moehrig suspended one game, and he is going to appeal, and that appeal could be heard by one of 3 players, including Jordy Nelson could be hearing that appeal as well. So we shall see.
Is he the one that hit our guy?
That hit Juwan Jennings below the belt? Yes, that was Moehrig, and then ended up getting punched in the face afterwards, unsurprisingly.
So you get punched in the face, and you get a suspension, and you lose a game check.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Unnamed in the 608 writes that North Texas will now be a feeder to Oklahoma State like James Madison is to Indiana. That's maybe
not the worst thing in the world. Oklahoma State kind of sucks.
Kurt Cignetti left James Madison to go to Indiana, and we've seen the success that Indiana has had. I will be interested to see what Indiana looks like when their schedule looks like Wisconsin's did this year, and whether or not they can sustain that success that they've had. But, kudos to Indiana. They're the number 2 team in the country right now. I actually was at James Madison's football stadium earlier this summer in Virginia. It's a nice stadium, nice little ballpark there.
They're having a good year still this year without Cignetti. I mean, James Madison is very competitive. Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like another coach here is heading to Arkansas. I just wanted to confirm I got the right guy, but Arkansas might have their guy in Alex Golesh of USF. South Florida's head coach might be headed to Arkansas. That one is still picking up steam. Doesn't seem like it's set in stone, but keep an eye on that.
Okay.
Yeah, we shall see if that ends up being in the 12 o'clock update.
Jerry in a plow truck writes, as we kind of sprinkle back about to some of the things that we were talking about the first hour of the program. I've got a couple of first concerts to beat. First concert technically was my mom at Summerfest, and it was MC Hammer in like 1991. I was 11. We sat in the grass. My first real concert was the following year when I was 12. My uncle dropped me and my 13-year-old cousin off at the Eagles Ballroom for Alice in Chains.
Ooh, nice.
I got crowd passed in the mosh pit. It was epic.
Oh, my goodness. Wait a minute. You're just leaving a 12 and a 13-year-old basically unsupervised.
That's good parenting right there. Is Jerry in a plow truck still with us?
Yeah.
I think Jerry in a plow truck's doing just fine. I hope his cousin's okay.
Yeah, you never know.
I hope.
But we're not quite sure there.
I'm not sure about your cousin. All right, so who's the best team in the NFC North?
That's a good question. I think it's the Lions still. And I think that when we were speaking yesterday with Rob Reichel, I mean, there was an opportunity to pick his brain on it. And he also felt as if the Lions are still the best team in the division. Records suggest that they're not. And I think that this is an opportunity tomorrow to see, in my opinion, between the 2 top dogs, who is the top team in the division at this moment. And I've been labeled as a Packers hater even before the season when I picked them as a team that I didn't think were necessarily a lock to make the postseason. Some felt immediately upon acquiring Micah Parsons that they were a Super Bowl favorite. And I didn't think so.
Well, Vegas thought that, though.
Right. And Vegas thinks a lot of things, and not often are they wrong. But in this case, I do think that this is a situation where prove it to me tomorrow that you have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, because of the teams that the Packers have beaten this season, you're not looking back very fondly on any of them besides Detroit.
Yeah. At the time, you thought the Commanders win was going to be something that you could hang your hat on.
Has been relatively healthy, right? Their defense has been relatively healthy all year, and we know it to be terrible now. We know it is terrible. It's a very bad unit. And they did play Jaden Daniels. They did have that aspect of the game to say, hey, we beat this guy, NFL's NFC Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. So there's that. But I do think that you have to start stacking up impressive wins. Last week, unfortunately, as the Vikings keep going down the path they're going down, it looks like that's just a putrid unit. And they beat the Lions. But I look at this
and the Lions
team,
struggled against the Giants. They had the Giants took the Lions to overtime last week.
Yeah.
Jameis is going to sling the rock. And if you're not ready for it, you're going to give up a lot of yards. And he didn't make the terrible mistake again for a second straight week, but he's a ticking time bomb. James, if he has to start again this week against New England, my guess is he turns it over multiple times.
Yeah, him or Russell Wilson. I mean, it's just going to be a disaster over there. But, I mean, the Giants, that was just – the Giants should have won that game. They blew it completely, as they
That
have
is
done
true.
quite a bit. But when you have like 4th and goal and you're up by 3 there and you go for it instead of kicking the field, what are you doing? That the Giants were asking for that one. I mean, they brought that one upon themselves. So that's not so much the Lions won that game as it was the Giants just lost it. It just horrendous decision making by them, as they've had all season. So, I mean, for me, I think it's the Packers still, because when we did see the Packers and the Lions play earlier on, the Packers clearly were outclassing them in that game. Now, obviously, we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot in between that game and now, but still, when these two teams did play each other, the Packers were far and away the better team back then. And I still believe that they are the better team now than the Lions are, because, we've seen them and we've talked with Jeff Reiger and getting his thoughts on that Lions team. That offensive line unit for them has just been terrible most of the season. They're dealing with injuries in the secondary. It just hasn't quite been as good since they lost their 2 big coordinators last year. So for me, I still think the Packers are the top team in the NFC North.
Let me ask you this. I'll start with Nick. How much will the next 28 hours inform your opinion on who the best team in the NFC North is? Is it just this one game that will either change your mind either way?
Yeah, I think they're separated by a whisker. So I do think that this opponent this week is an opportunity for both sides to prove their supremacy in the division. I mean, you beat the Packers if you're Detroit. You immediately leapfrog them, potentially push Green Bay out of the postseason picture, and emerge as now in second place with an opportunity to strike down the Bears down the stretch. Packers win this game, you're now up 2, right? You have 2 fewer losses and the same and 1 more win. I mean, you're in the driver's seat to beat the Lions in the division unless you collapse. So I do think that this will prove to me what side is better. Something happens, an injury, unforeseen circumstances lend to, a game that doesn't have a full picture. I could have a different opinion come Friday, but I do think right now, whoever wins this game, I will say is the better team.
Dave?
Yeah, I think this game is going to determine a lot of that, because, they are close. But when they played each other the first time, the Packers were clearly the better squad back then. But now when you have the second game here later on in the season, this game is going to tell us quite a bit about where the Packers are truly at right now, where the Lions are truly at right now. So, yeah, what ends up happening in this game, I think, will ultimately determine who's going to ultimately be the winner of the division this year, because I believe that the Bears are just paper tigers or paper bears.
I believe the word is fraud.
Frauds. Yes, they're absolutely frauds. And I don't think they're going to ultimately end up winning this division. I think it's going to be one of the Packers or the Lions. Personally, I think it'll be the Packers, but I think that'll get determined by who wins this game tomorrow. If the Packers win it, they put themselves in the clear driver's seat. If the Lions win it, they put themselves pretty much in that driver's seat.
I don't know that I'm ready to commit to that yet, because there's still so much football left to be played. And these two teams have played each other pretty closely over the course of the last 5 or 6 years. Now, there was Packers dominance for a long time prior to that. And the Lions, they've had a certain glow up that we've seen the last several years. And I give them credit. They've put themselves into into consideration for being one of the NFL's elite teams. But this is put up or shut up time for the Detroit Lions. They've been on the cusp. And there have been a few teams that have been on the cusp. The Buffalo Bills right now, they are the maybe ultimate put up or shut up team that, listen, if you're not going to win a Super Bowl this year, if not even going to go to a Super Bowl this year, I don't want to hear it anymore. You're a pretender. And I would say the same thing about the Lions. They've seemingly got all the player personnel that you could possibly imagine. Yes, they lost their 2 coordinators, and we're seeing the Chicago Bears be the true benefits of that so far. Not necessarily as much the New York Jets, but again, whether or not the Bears are paper tigers or frauds or baby bears, whatever you want to call them, I think we're going to find out the rest of the season. I'm not ready to commit after one game tomorrow whether or not the Lions are going to be the class of the NFC North. There's so much football left to be played, and the Packers sometimes play their best football in the clutch and sometimes play their worst football in the clutch. Yeah, it's an important game. You want to see the Packers win. Yeah, they manhandled the Lions pretty well in the first game of the season, but then the Lions went on a 4-game winning streak. But the last several weeks, they've been pretty bad as well. Are they going to roar back, no pun intended, the rest of the season? I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's game, but I can't say whether or not for sure that this is going to, tip the balance of power in a very competitive NFC North, because I still think the Packers have an absolute clunker left in them. I also think the Lions have an absolute clunker left in them, and I think the Bears have several clunkers left in them.
I'm with you there.
I think the thing that we should acknowledge is, if we're talking about driver's seat, the Bears are in the driver's seat.
Now they are.
They have the division lead as it stands now, and they have the best offense in football over the last 10 weeks. Number one across the board, points per game, yards. They are killing it. They're playing incredibly well.
Ben Johnson has unlocked Caleb.
They have done what they need to do on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they have had a billion turnovers. They have done a great job at least bending but not breaking, trying to maintain that defensive performance without the turnovers moving forward will be really hard. But, I mean, is it a comfortable driver's seat? Absolutely not. But it feels like the kid has now taken the wheel. It's just a matter of if they can hold on and complete the task. And I would argue, of course, with you guys that they will not be able to. But Chicago starts stacking W's. If they win them on Friday afternoon, it's a 2:00 kickoff Central. They beat the Eagles on the road. I mean, you'd have to say Packers couldn't beat them at home. Who's to say if the Bears went on the road that they are not real?
There aren't a lot of teams that are beating the Eagles. The Eagles are still an elite team. The Rams are still an elite team. The Packers aren't yet an elite team. And as far as like the Bears being in the driver's seat, yeah, you're right. By a half game, and they still have to play the Packers twice. So, yeah. That
opportunity awaits.
The driver's seat.
Everybody involved.
You're in the driver's seat, but you're navigating traffic, baby. And Chicago traffic, if you've ever driven through it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I know we all have.
The worst.
It is. It's not great. This is Air Supply, isn't it?
It is. Yes,
it is.
Yeah. Do you think I was going to play anything else?
It's Thanksgiving. What the hell? Here I am. We'll hear from Packers coach Matt LaFleur coming up on the other side. Stay with us. Talking text line open to you, 877-794-1973. Who is the best team, in your opinion, in the NFC North? And the second question is, how much, let's not even say tomorrow's game, let's add Friday's game against the Eagles as well. How much will these next 2 days inform you as to the balance of power in this division? 877-794-1973. Air Supply plays us off on D.N.D.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. I know you were right, believing for so long. I'm all out of love. What am I without you? I can't be too late to say.
winds are screaming and the fires are howling way down in the valley tonight. There's a man in the shadows with the gun in his eye and a blade shining oh so bright. There's evil in the air and there's thunder in the sky and a killer's on the bloodshot streets. Oh, and down in the tunnel with a deadly horizon, oh, I swear I saw a young boy down in the gutter. He was starting to foam in the heat.
Meatloaf?
Of course. That out of hell.
Sounds like Meatloaf. Was never a big Meatloaf fan.
No?
That's okay. I don't have any negative
Mom
thoughts.
makes every once in a while. I mean,
I don't have any
I
negative
usually
thoughts
can-
about somebody.
I
Yeah.
usually eat it if my mom makes it, but no, you're talking about the artist.
the meatloaf!
Meatloaf now. Tim Allen loves to make meatloaf. He's told me about it in the past.
My mother
Yeah.
used to make meatloaf when I was a kid, and it was disgusting, and I haven't had it since.
Yeah.
I think she used to throw like ketchup on it or something. It's like,
Oh,
what,
Yeah.
Not too
what
shabby.
are we doing?
Nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that.
Everything
Yeah.
wrong with
In
that.
terms of eating it, yeah, I'm not really a fan of meatloaf. I'll take steak, but meatloaf is just the texture is just off to me.
I don't have any negative feelings toward meatloaf. Like with some celebrities, like you know of them, you are aware of them, but you're not
Yeah.
necessarily fans of them. I would never go up to somebody who I'm not a fan of and tell them that I'm a fan of them. I
Yeah.
think, but if you're being honest about somebody, like if there's like a mid celebrity that you're just kind of mediocre about,
Yeah.
I don't know. Glenn Powell.
Okay.
I don't have any. I'm just picking.
You don't like
somebody.
Glenn Powell?
I don't dislike Glenn Powell. I'm
You know.
just not what I would say is I'm not a huge fan of Glenn Powell, but I don't have any negative feelings toward Glenn Powell. He's just there.
Yeah.
He's somebody who I know is famous.
Yeah. You're not like, oh my God, a Glenn Powell movie. I gotta see it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever seen that. I don't think anyone has ever said that. No one
there
has.
are a lot of women
no-
who have said that.
Well, maybe.
People be saying that these days, man.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, I don't have anything negative about Glenn Powell. I'm just not a fan of Glenn Powell. But he's fine as a human being. I'm sure he's fine young man, fine chap.
Yeah.
But I would never go up and say, "Oh, Glenn Powell, you're famous. I'm such a huge fan of you." That's how I'm about Meatloaf.
Okay.
It's like
Okay.
I don't have any negative
Well,
feelings.
you're not gonna be able to go up to Meatloaf at all anymore. So
True, because
You can
know,
visit his grave. Where is he
is-
buried?
left that mortal coil. He's from Dallas or was from Dallas. Fun fact about Meatloaf is he was there as a teenager at Parkland Hospital when Kennedy got shot.
Oh.
When he tells that
Oh.
story. Yeah. He was in Dallas.
Findagrave.com. I'm trying to locate where he is.
Okay. I'm guessing somewhere in Texas, perhaps, because he was riding his bike with his friends when they heard the sirens, and they were not too far apparently from Parkland Hospital, and he saw like the limo come in and all the hullabaloo that was November 22nd, 1963. Our friend Mike Heller's birth date, by the way, which is weird in every single
Born on the
possible
day.
way.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Meatloaf was there.
Wild.
Do we know where he's buried yet?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I know he was cremated.
He died in
spec-
Nashville. but-
Specifically, ashes were given to a surviving widow.
Okay, so
maybe-
just got ashes in the house, probably.
Ted in the 920 writes, I've been listening the last couple of days. Your mom sucks at cooking and it's permanently scarred you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that he took a run at your mom there, Doug.
No, I've been taking the runs.
Yes.
They were giving you the runs.
Ted-
That's the problem with
Ted-
cooking.
Ted's been observing. Listen, I've taken the shots. Listen, she's good at cooking some things, not as good at other things. That's all. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
She doesn't. My mother cooked for the family. She didn't necessarily cook for me, and I've been told my wife tells me I'm a picky eater. I don't believe that, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what she tells me.
Oh, yeah. The one that complains about turkey being served on Thanksgiving and say, no, you can't have that. This all is bad. That's bad. This food is bad.
Yeah, I just know what I like. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all. So we'll find out where Meatloaf met his ultimate demise. But
Yeah,
nevertheless,
I'm working on it.
Matt LaFleur is still very much with us, and we'll be
Yes.
on the sidelines tomorrow coaching the Green Bay Packers. He does not have any kind of media availability today. Here are a few minutes of his comments yesterday leading up to the Packers game tomorrow against the Detroit Lions, Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field.
Something happened to Lucas?
No, I just think, yes. he's been dealing with an injury. And so, I think we all were thinking he'd be further along than he is. And unfortunately, he's where he's at. And so it's kind of, day-to-day type thing.
I guess I'd ask probably about it as it weren't again a setback. He played about 6 snaps.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a setback. I just think it's just where he's at. And we thought he might be able to go, and he tried to go and wasn't feeling it. So that's where he's at.
Is Keyshawn making progress? He went from DNP to limited today.
Yeah, all those. I mean, a lot of these guys are making progress. Unfortunately, you're kind of up against it when you're talking about a Thursday night football. So we'll see where they're at. Obviously, he's a guy that we would absolutely give up till game time to see if he can go.
Jacobs spoke pretty confidently when he talked to us last week that if he missed a game, it would just be one game and he'd be back for this one. Do you feel pretty good about him at this point?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how he responds. I mean, I know we didn't have a full practice. It was everything was walked through today. And so we'll just see kind of how he's feeling on game day.
With Jaden, whenever he comes back, whether that be this week, next, with a guy who's not coming back from a soft tissue injury, is it easier for them to be back once they're back and really hit the ground running without that fear of re-aggravating anything?
I don't necessarily think that. I think it's all about time on task and getting the practice reps in and staying in that rhythm. So I'm sure there's always going to be a little bit of just a reacclimation, I would say, in terms of return to play. But he's a great competitor, certainly can feed off his playmaking ability and the energy that he brings not only to our offense, but our football team.
What changes with Dan Campbell? I mean, have you seen anything play calling wise or offensive scheme wise that's changed since he's taken over the offense?
I don't know necessarily changed. I think he's done a heck of a job, putting his guys in position. And then ultimately they got a ton of playmakers. Obviously it all starts, their offensive line, I think is really talented. And then I think Goff, just watching him play, and he's playing the best football these last couple of years of his career. And he's playing at an extremely high level. And then you got a bunch of playmakers to throw it to, with Amon-Ra, with Williams. Obviously Gibbs and Montgomery are two very special backs. So obviously I know they're missing Laporta, which is a big loss for them, but they got a lot of weapons.
From your perspective, when Jordan has to do the handoff with just the one hand, the way he did last week, how much of an hindrance, if at all, is that when?
Well, I don't think you necessarily want to see that. I think it's not natural, and you never want to put the ball in jeopardy. And certainly some of our passes will come off our actions. And if you're not doing the right action, it can take away from that effect, I would say.
Is that something you talked about with them last week, that you might have to use that back?
No, it just kind of happened. But it's not the first time I've seen it. And I think he's seen other guys that were here before do the same thing. So, but he's got to do what he's got to do to feel comfortable. And, obviously we feel good with him in there. So it's whatever it takes.
You're going against an offense that might go for fourth down every time, but how does that affect you as a play caller? Are you any more or less aggressive? You just got to stay in your lane and manage the way that you want.
I think it's all about the flow of the game, just the complexion of the game, and how that will impact maybe some decisions a little bit more. But I do know that they are going to be aggressive, and they show that aggressiveness in all three phases.
What did you see from Dalton watching the tape back, and are you inclined just to give it to him from the start on Thursday?
Well, we'll see. We'll see where we're at. We'll go through our preparation, but I thought, he came in there and he did a great job. I thought he showed the physicality and the strain that we're looking for at that position. Obviously, he's a big man. First time playing guard, but I thought all in all, he did a pretty good job.
I know you said, at the beginning of the year, you just wanted him to focus on tackle. How long has he been working inside as well in practice?
Well, as you know, we like to cross-train a lot of these guys. I do think it's a little bit more difficult when you're talking about younger players. You like them to kind of get into a rhythm at one position, but he's such a talented player that, we just felt like that was best for us.
Now you talked about Kamal's growth. How much does it help if he does have to be the guy that he got the opportunity he did last week to kind of get his feet wet playing on defense in the NFL?
Yeah, I think that certainly helps. The more experience you get, the more comfortable you typically feel and more confident, especially as you're making plays. And I thought Kamal did an excellent job stepping in there.
Man, when you face a guy like Hutchinson, and you obviously have to decide when you're going to double team him, what goes into, how much you can lose out of a certain play when you have to double team him, or you decide you want to double team him? How does it affect you from the other standpoint, from where what you want to do in the passing game or a particular play? How do you weigh that?
Well, typically if you're going to double somebody, you got one less eligible that, you can get out into the concepts, and depending upon what coverages they're playing, that could be a real problem. If they're playing some spot drop zone and you're only getting 4 out, then, you got one, and it's less people to cover. So I think every situation is a little bit different, and I think they do a good job of putting him in positions where they make it hard to double them situationally. So I think you just got to pick and choose your spots.
How they line him up really wide.
All of the above, different front structures, different pressures that they can run. It's a very aggressive style of defense. I mean, we know they're going to play man. They're going to bring pressure, and they have quick add-ons. So when they do that, it makes it a little bit more difficult to double team somebody, especially when you talk situational ball.
With so much time between week one and where we are now, how do you evaluate that game in terms of what they did recently versus how they defended you so early?
I mean, you definitely watch it. You take it into account, and but I think both teams, over the course of a season, you kind of evolve, and you have different people in there first and foremost. So you got to account for that as well.
Packers coach Matt LaFleur meeting in the media yesterday. When we come back, we'll hear from Micah Parsons. Also catch up with Jordan Love coming up in the next hour of the program as well. A couple of things to tell you about in the 12 o'clock hour. Joe Bartel will join us from RotoWire to give us some fantasy football advice. Also, author Rich Podolsky. He's got a new book about, if you're of a certain age as a football fan, you grew up with Madden and Summerall, and he wrote a book about it, and it's a fascinating read. And it feels like these two guys were together forever. They were together for 21 years, which I guess is a long time, especially when you're growing up watching these guys. But they revolutionized what broadcast television football can sound like. We'll hit that coming up in the 12 o'clock hour of the program as well. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzowitz, Dave Gasper, it's D.N.D. Stay with us on the game.
Get out, and maybe I'm damned if I do. But with every beat I got left in my heart, I'd rather be damned with you. Well, if I gotta be damned, I wanna be damned. Where do we go from here?
It's D.N.D, Doug Russell, Nick Bruzwitz, and Dave Gasper here on this Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving, November 26th. Coming up in the next hour of the program, Joe Bartel will join us from RotoWire, get some fantasy football help. Also, author Rich Podolsky will join us. Also, Jim Polzin will join us in the final hour of the program, and Nick had his conversation with Badgers cornerback Ricardo Hallman ahead of Wisconsin's season finale. In all likelihood, there could be there's an outside chance of a bowl game, but it's really outside. If they win, will finish the season 5-7, and most importantly, win 3 of their last 4 and bring back the axe. But let's not put the cart before the horse. We'll hear from Ricardo Hallman coming up a little bit later on in the program. Badgers defensive end Micah Parsons, he met the media yesterday outside of the Packers locker room. Normally he talks on Thursday, but this week has been all cattywampus. So here is Micah Parsons now with 10 sacks as a Green Bay Packer in 2025.
From your experience, what's the most important thing a player has to do when you had 3 days to prepare for a big-time game like Thursday?
Recovery and mentality. Just understanding, get the gist. Like, you obviously don't get the full game plan week. You just try to squeeze it in. So you got to do more time on your own or have an understanding of how you're going to be attacked. So just more on the mental and just recovery.
More than any other player I've seen, you pride yourself on just not tiring, late in games, taking over games. So when you have a short week, does that amplify your area of expertise there? Does that help? Do you think you have an advantage?
Yeah, I probably have the advantage. No doubt in my mind. I got the advantage. And it's just like the mentality of just like, we're all hurt, we're all banged up, but who's going to play harder?
What gives you that advantage? Just your tenacity or just
mindset? Like, they're not going to outplay me. Like, I get, like, they probably got one of the best dual tackles in the league. It's cool. I feel like we got one of the best rush duos in the league. So I'm already anticipating the game plan and the matchup. I'm excited about it.
Obviously your mindset is a huge part of it, but what percentage of it is also just your conditioning, your superior athletic ability? What's the, how much is, what's the balance there? Is it?
I would probably say God is 95. You know what I mean? Because, like, he designed me, you know what I mean? So he's probably about the other 95. And then I would say 2.5% is me, and then 2.5% is the mentality part, like how I'm built, and, I was just – and I feel like if you look at, like, all the great players, I listen to all of them speak. I speak of, like, Kobe, Jordan, the flu games, the Game 6 in 97 when he's like, I'm dog tired. Like, he's got 45 points and he comes up with that big stop and he ends the game. Like, there's a similarity in all greatness. And the more you try to find that greatness is the more you try to obtain. And you all, even Kevin Garnett, I listened to his motivational speak about, like, he's like, I just hate to lose. And that's just me. Like, I really hate to lose. Like, there was a time I was playing a game night with my girl and she went against me and I lost and I didn't speak to her for about 2 days. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just like that mindset, just hate to lose. Like, I hate to lose. I hate the feeling of someone beat me. I hate the feeling of someone stopped me. Like, we're all tired. We all get tired. That's normal. We all have fear. That's normal. We all have injuries, challenges of what we got to go through to get ready for the game. I think those is all normal, but what's not normal and what you have to develop is the mentality of pushing when we're tired, pushing when we're hurt. It's challenging, but when you get into that space, you find a lot of room to grow in it.
What game was it?
Categories, dog. Yeah, I like categories, dog. There's times like, I hate to say it, but I think this is the only time I'm like a prima donna in life is when I'm playing them board games. And now I got certain family members that don't even want to play unless they're on my team because they either might get kicked out or excluded from the rest of the activities for the week if they go against me.
Matt,
what other board games do you play?
Code Names, Connect 4. I probably haven't lost in Connect 4 in like 5 years. Man, Taboo's our thing too. Taboo, we love Taboo. So yeah, we like them little games.
You like to be on the buzzer on Taboo?
Oh my God! People tell me I got intimidator factors in Taboo. I'm over there squeaking. I'm like, oh, you said that. Everybody gets scared when I go up, so I gotta lead the team as always.
Has that always been you as the hate to lose kind of guy? Like even when you're like little mic on your back or whatever?
Yeah. I told my I used to wrestle and I used to always break down crying when I lost these wrestling matches. And my dad's like, it's okay, you're gonna get another match. And I was like, no, it's not, Dad. Like, you don't understand. Like we work so hard. Like we all have goals and dreams. Like if I'm going into this wrestling tournament, like I want to be number one. Like I don't want to be third place on the podium. Like I want to smile and look down at the rest. Like, and even in football, like high school, my running back coach, Jawan Chisholm, he used to always give me this talk. He was like, don't forget. And, he kind of always knew I was going to be great. He's like, don't forget, in 10 years, they're going to talk about how they shut you down in high school. This is their day. This is their year. This is their life. Like, and I used to always have them in times like, I can't let them get that in 10 years. I'm like, even if it's like a small thing and like right now, like it's just a game. No, it's not just a game. Like this is a forever thing. And so I try to carry that mentality every game I play, even in National Football League. Like, in this game, this guy's going to talk about he shut me down this offseason. Like, he got the best of me, and it just don't sit right with me.
Packers defensive end Micah Parsons. I could listen to him talk all day long. It's easy to see not only the production on the field, but the way that he's becoming a fan favorite categories.
That competitiveness, it never leaves you.
He hasn't lost in Connect 4 in 5 years.
That's
He's
incredible.
funny. I mean, he's a funny guy, and I think that is often a great way to endear yourself to the fans, but his production already has done that, I think, unanimously across the board.
And he is an absolute team leader in that locker room as well. There are so many things that he has brought to this team in intensity, humor to the locker room, but also leadership as well. All right, we're halfway home. 2 hours down, 2 hours to go. Stay with us on D.N.D.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Well, the coordinators for the Packers talked yesterday as well, and we just finished hearing from Mike Parsons, and his coordinator, Jeff Hafley, had an interesting sports crossover here, talking about his closer, Micah Parsons.
I told him, he said we could start a trend, and he thought it was really cool and wanted to do it. So how cool would it have been the other night if, when we walked out on that final drive, Enter Sandman started to play and he closed out the game with the sack? I mean, he loved it. I think he didn't know. I said, do you know who Rivera is? He's like, no. And I told him, I said, he's the greatest closer of all time. And when he came out, they played Enter Sandman. He walked out of the bullpen. Everybody started screaming and going crazy, and you knew the game was over. Whether it was 3 outs or 1 out or whatever it was, he was going to put him down. And I told Micah, that's who he is. He needs to put people to sleep. So I think he's a fan.
Put him to sleep and just give him a closer's entrance.
And it doesn't surprise me that Hafley would say that, because he grew up in the shadows of New York. He grew up in suburban New Jersey. But on that staff, it's Rich Bisaccia who's the monster Yankees fan.
Yeah.
So,
Matt Schneidman must just be having a field day with those guys.
Matt Schneidman and Bisaccia, I mean, they've got a pretty cool. I think I would like to listen to the two of them on a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would just talk each other the whole time. Because,
I'm sure.
Because they give it to each other, which is fun.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. But, Mike Parsons as the closer, as Jeff Hafley's putting it. I mean, look, just listen to him. I mean, he obviously has that competitive edge. If Micah Parsons could throw a baseball 95 miles an hour, and if he went a different route, wanted to be a pitcher, he absolutely has that mindset to be a closer.
I think that when you look at Micah, and some people, myself included, maybe will never be satisfied because we just want more moments of greatness from him. They haven't put him in a position to close enough this year, where that it's obvious that the Packers have a lead and they can dive into an opportunity to really put it away late. I think this past week you saw the opportunities come early and often because they got up and then they were able to hold a lead.
Here's what I've seen from Parsons all year long, though. This is a guy who has a motor that doesn't quit. This is a guy who, in the fourth quarter, really comes alive. But there are also teams that are scheming against him, whether he's double teamed, whether it's, a 3-step drop and get the ball out. Yeah. There are not that many opportunities for Parsons to get home. And yet still, with 6 games left to play, he's got 10 sacks. He's not going to catch Myles Garrett, but he's also said that if there's a pass rusher in the NFL that's better than he is, it's Myles Garrett. And Garrett, did he have any last week? I know that he has 15. He had 15 going into last week.
I think he had 3
now.
18 sacks. So Garrett's, incredible. Yeah, he's the defensive player of the year. Why they don't scheme better against him is beyond me, but he's elite. He's one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. But Micah Parsons is he's in the conversation, whereas there hasn't been a Packer who's been in that conversation since Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
And Clay Matthews was great. Don't get me wrong, but when you're talking about a game-changing game wrecker that instantly gives you credibility and makes you better, they haven't had that player since Reggie White.
Yeah, there's only so many people in the league that are as elite as he is, and as good as Clay was. I don't think at any point during his career anyone looked at him and said, that's the best defensive player on the planet.
Right, and it was the Raiders that the Browns played last week, so maybe that was a bad example on my part. So the Raiders can't do anything right. So
he's gotten after. The Patriots. I think he had 5 sacks in that game earlier this year, or 4 at least. Yeah. That's a good team. He's doing it against everybody. He's 18 sacks through.
He's a monster.
11 games.
Myles Garrett's a monster.
Yeah, just incredible, and he's going to set that record pretty easily. 17th game or not, that's going to be incredible. And speaking of a monster, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Bucks need him to be a monster, and they need him back. He's questionable tonight as the Bucks are playing in the NBA Cup against the Miami Heat, and they're going to have to turn some things around pretty quickly here. Also, we got the courts here with the NBA Cup and how fancy they are. Luka Doncic has been calling out the courts, saying that they're too slippery.
I can see that because it's all paint.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's taken this long. I'm surprised it wasn't Kyrie.
Yeah.
Well, he's not playing.
Did he play well, he's played in the did he play last year, the year before in the cup?
Yeah, probably. But they're getting more egregious, I think, as time goes on. I think they're now all almost full color. Yeah, I mean,
Well, they
so,
have. I mean, they have
yeah.
been. That's they just change it every year. I can imagine that they probably are pretty slick if they're all paint all the time. I just think the courts. I understand what they're doing. They want the NBA Cup to feel special, and you want to know the NBA wants to know that you're watching an NBA Cup game. They're trying to make something they're trying to turn nothing into something. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, the Bucks won the NBA Cup last year. Good for them. What did it mean? Nothing. It meant absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Means Giannis is staying, right? Right. Yeah.
No.
Totally.
It meant at the end of the day, nothing.
Meant you got another banner to hang.
It's a worthless title. Sorry.
Yep.
It just is. I'm glad the Bucks won it last year.
Yeah.
I am.
Fun.
But when you talk about championships that the Bucks have won, you think about 71 and you think about 21. Ain't nobody thinking NBA Cup.
Nope. Not a single person, not a single soul anywhere thinking about that.
It's more useless than winning the division championship. Not the conference championship, but the division championship. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. You win the Central Division. Who won the Central Division last year? I don't know. Probably Indiana, I guess. But does anybody care?
No.
Exactly.
No. Not in the slightest. So yeah, you gotta win it all. And Lincoln Riley's trying to do that at USC, and he says he is 100% staying at USC rather than
who's going to poach him.
I don't know. Or is this kind of like I'm staying, kind of like a Mike Gundy? I'm staying before he got ultimately let go.
Sure, it's
he's an offensive genius.
Yeah. So is he going to take a step back and be an offensive coordinator somewhere else?
No.
Oh. Is he going to give up the $10 million a year salary that he's being paid at USC to be a head coach to go be an offensive coordinator for $3 million? No. He's a great offensive coach. As a head coach, he's a great offensive coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just needs a better defensive identity moving forward. And I don't know if there is a better job if you're truly not 100% in a position to win a national championship than to be at USC.
There's not.
That lifestyle.
Yeah. There's not. I mean, it's
the lifestyle, the brand,
Yeah. I mean, but they don't have a complete coach. They haven't had a complete coach in a long time. The last complete coach they had was Pete.
Yeah.
And that was also because he had great offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. Monty Kiffin was his defensive coordinator. Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian were his co-offensive coordinators back when they were winning championships. But, Pete was the guy that oversaw it all. But beyond that, I mean, they've been wandering out in the wilderness, kind of flirting with being good. Steve Sarkisian drank his way out of that job. Lane Kiffin was a disaster. Clay Helton was a disaster. Ed Orgeron was the only one who won any damn thing, but he couldn't pronounce Hollywood with Hollywood. So they ran him out of town.
Go Tigers.
Yeah. I mean, he was an LSU guy. So this is a football program that's been kind of trying to feel its way through since Pete left.
Yeah.
Maybe Pete comes back.
We'll see if the Raiders want to keep him around.
Yeah, his tenure might not be long there in Las Vegas.
Right. But listen, as much as I kind of was chagrined when Pete was hired there in the first place and I was wrong and he turned out to be great, that was also 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago. That was 25 years ago.
Why? Has something changed in college athletics?
A lot of things have changed in college athletics, and Pete is the oldest coach in NFL history.
Yep. Yes, he is.
He can be I don't know who would be the oldest. Was it Paterno?
In college football history? Probably Eddie Robinson, I'm guessing. But I'm not positive about that. Maybe it was Paterno. Paterno or Eddie Robinson, one of the two.
I'm checking on it.
Bill Belichick is the oldest current one.
Well, currently, yes.
Yeah.
Eddie Robinson was 78 years old.
Okay. Paterno?
Grambling State.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to figure out how old Paterno was.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he died not long after.
Months
he was
after.
let go. Yeah.
How old was he when he died?
85.
Okay, since Paterno.
Yeah.
Paterno was a little bit older than Eddie Robinson.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, 84 in his final year.
So,
yeah.
That's pretty old.
Yeah. Well, he also wasn't, I don't know what was in his headphones, for the last 15 years of his career, because he clearly wasn't coaching that team.
No.
You go to Big Ten Media Days, you'd ask him a question. He didn't have the faintest idea what the hell you were talking about.
Yeah. He was going around. He was trying not to get trucked by his players on the sideline. He had to end up in the golf carts and whatnot. And
Joe Paterno was sorry to say this, but he was a figurehead for at least 15 years, probably longer.
Yeah.
I was at those media days, and when the elevator wasn't going all the way up to the top floor, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't think it was for.
I think he was listening. I think in his headset he was listening to Lawrence Welk.
I could see it. Yeah, it was certainly a tough stretch there at the end for Joe Paterno. But so coaching carousel kind of continuing there. Arkansas reportedly hiring USF's head coach Alex Golesh, and Jim Mora leaving UConn to Colorado State. Eric Morris leaving North Texas for Oklahoma State. So we're seeing some moves getting made here. And after this next week, I'm imagining we're going to be seeing quite a few more. And obviously the biggest name to watch is going to be Lane Kiffin. Does he end up staying at Ole Miss? Does he go to LSU? That's going to be the major question. We'll find out probably next week.
I would have thought that he would stay at Ole Miss until we found out. Well, I found out yesterday. Apparently you guys knew that his daughter was dating somebody that's on the LSU football team.
Yep.
That would tip it in for me. It's like, I just want to keep an eye on you. That's all.
Yep.
That's all.
I
just want to keep an eye on you.
I'm almost certain Paterno easily, for sure, the oldest ever. But in my research here, I did stumble across something kind of funny. It's unfortunate, but kind of funny. In 2010, the Maxwell Football Club of Philadelphia established the Joseph V. Paterno Award to be awarded annually to the college football coach who has made a positive impact on his university, his players, and his community. Following the breaking Penn State child sex abuse scandal the following year, the award was discontinued. Who's our one winner of the Joseph V. Paterno, award? One person won it.
One winner.
And then they disbanded. It was Frank Beamer of Virginia.
All right, Virginia Tech legend. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Virginia Tech famously has a new coach as well, James Franklin, who was at Penn State following the whole scandal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a natural fit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, Penn State made out like bandits because they don't have to pay almost $50 million.
They saved $40 million.
Yeah, they did. They saved $40 million by James Franklin going to Vatech. So
yeah, well,
Penn State comes out the winner on that.
I think his contract stipulated that he had to look for jobs.
He had to put forth a good faith effort.
Yeah. And of course, Virginia Tech's like, we'll take you.
Yeah.
Well, we'll sign you up right over here because we'd like to actually have big games to worry about not winning them.
Yeah, that's called the mitigation clause. That's in most college football contracts.
Yeah.
Not in most professional contracts, but most college football contracts.
Yeah. But I mean, like, has Paul Christ found a head coach job anywhere? Like, I mean, does his assistant?
I thought he was going to Oregon State. Whatever happened to that?
There were some rumblings. I don't think they've made a decision.
From at Sean Wright NBA, the troll account. I'm sorry, that guy is not a legit source for anything.
On3 also had an article, and they're pretty legitimate organization. So I don't know. We can ask Joe Bartel about it. How about that?
He's coming
Maybe
up
he
next.
knows Oregon State football.
Get your fantasy football questions in right now. 877-794-1973. Joe Bartel from RotoWire coming up straight ahead. Stay with us on the game.
With Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the song Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released the double concept album Tommy, which goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
Even on my favorite table, he can't beat my best. His disciples needed him, and he just does the rest. Stop crazy little fingers, never seen him fall. That gift of a blind kid, show up, plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches number 5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you'll see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, lay across my big brass bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a number 2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement that includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up.
Wisconsin Badger basketball.
It's holiday tournament time as the Badgers take on Providence this Thursday. Coverage starts at 4 o'clock on Fox Sports 920 WOKY.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record. But it does have some, country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
For money-saving tips that can help put your financial house in order and avoid future financial headaches, call the National Foundation for Credit Counseling today at 1-800-388-2227 or visit them at nfcc.org, a public service from the NFCC.
All right, we are hoping to hook up with RotoWire's Joe Bartel here in just a couple of minutes. Get you some fantasy football help. I need some fantasy football. I went from first in scoring to fourth in scoring just this week. I did win. I did beat up on Armin pretty good in fantasy football this week, but I didn't have a very good week, though.
Yeah, I came this close to beating Spencer, who's atop the league.
Spencer's got to be stopped. We got to break him up.
Yeah, all I needed was Baker Mayfield not to throw out his shoulder trying to make a Hail Mary and throwing an interception. All I needed was him to not do that, and he couldn't do that.
So are you still in a spot for a playoff berth then?
Let's see. I need to double check because, that loss, it's kind of close.
Because I kind of hope so, because if you don't have a quarterback then and you and I go up against each other in the playoffs, that benefits me.
Well, I do have Sam Darnold. Okay. I'm currently 5th. So how many playoff spots do we got in this league?
6
playoff spots is pretty traditional.
I'm in position.
Okay.
In position to make the playoffs. Sorry about Tet McMillan sinking his ship last week. Spencer did text me. He said, let me know if they mentioned me today. They did. You've been mentioned, Spencer.
Yep, there you go, Spence. Congrats on the win. Yeah, but I'm sitting there at 6-6, but I'm in.
Usually Spencer listens. I usually get text messages from him, saying something about, what we say about him on the show. Usually it's complaining about his fantasy prowess because he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, he is. But Baker Mayfield, him and Emeka Egbuka, I was hoping for just decent games out of them. Couldn't get it because once Baker Mayfield went out, Teddy Bridgewater apparently stopped throwing Emeka Egbuka the ball, which seems like a very poor decision. Like if you're in there, hey, maybe I should throw it to my best wide receiver. But
still to come in this hour, we'll check in with author Rich Podolsky. He wrote a new book called Madden and Summerall, How They Revolutionized NFL Broadcasting. These were the guys that I grew up with, Madden and Summerall. This was, you knew that it was a big game when these guys were on the call. And the Packers didn't have a lot in the early days when I started watching football, mostly in the early to mid 80s. And then in the 90s, we got a little bit more of Madden and Summerall, and that was a lot of fun as well. So
I know Joe was watching then too, and we got him now.
Oh, Joe's in. All right.
Join us.
Hey, Joe.
John Madden the NFL game, right? I mean, we could talk video games all day. I don't know much about 80s announcers necessarily. Sorry.
Well, this then I'm going to enjoy the conversation that we got with Rich Podolsky coming up because I've never played Madden once in my life. I'm not a video game guy.
Really?
I've never played Madden. But it's still, you know what? This is how you know a guy has had an impact because Madden is still a thing. And for a certain age of football fans, what do you think of Madden? You think of the game and not the announcer. And if you're even older, you think of the coach of John Madden, not the announcer.
Well, yeah, just
not the
think
game.
about that. We're talking about like 6 or 7 decades worth of John Madden
Incredible.
in some capacity. I mean, we're talking about like that really is incredible. I wasn't really joking about the video game thing. I obviously have watched Madden somewhere, at least from the early 2000s, doing some of those last few games, Super Bowls, things like that. But think about the impact that John Madden specifically has had to the game of football as a coach, I guess a little bit as a player, as an announcer, and then creating a game that has spawned a whole lot of interest from a lot of new people. I mean, I generally don't think we'd be discussing football in the same way without John Madden and without the creation of that Madden football game, because it just is a different way for a consumer to appreciate the game of football without having to go and see it or whatever else too. And the ticket prices being what they are, I actually think Madden is going to be really instrumental in terms of the longevity of the NFL as a sport.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely. Great thought by Joe Bartel joining us from RotoWire. If you got any fantasy football questions, feel free to hit us up on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line, 877-794-1973. All right, the burning question, because I, as you know, use you to kind of tweak my own fantasy lineup every week because that's kind of what we do. What's going on right now with Lamar? And is he a fair bet to still start over Justin Herbert?
Yeah. I mean, how much time do we have here? I did on Reddit, there's a fantasy football page, just fantasy football. I spent about 2 hours asking questions. I think it was about 250 that I did over 2 hours, which is a lot. That was crazy to go ahead and do. Appreciate all the people that were participating in that. I want to say somewhere in the range of 30 to 40 were just solely related to Lamar Jackson, either rest of season or Lamar Jackson this week. That played Joe Burrow over Lamar Jackson. There was that played Justin Herbert. That played Dak Prescott. A lot of the Thursday quarterbacks overall. But I am not dissuaded by the compounding injury list that it seems to be for Lamar Jackson. I think when that guy is healthy, and sometimes we've seen players just kind of be like, all right, now I'm better. Like I moved past whatever it is. Whenever Lamar Jackson is healthy, we're talking about league-winning upside, or at least week-winning upside from the fantasy performance. That we've had some really bad floor games. I think it's certainly true. I just can't ignore what the ceiling could be. And I do think at any moment or any week we could have Lamar Jackson be back to that guy. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm entirely willing to admit that come week 15, maybe I've just viewed this thing completely differently or the way it shouldn't be. If Lamar Jackson could even give you 30 rushing yards, that obviously is great fantasy-wise, but there's a whole lot for that Ravens offense too, and I believe that's still there. I don't know how much time there needs to be in between there, but against this Bengals defense, he can at least pass the ball too. So I had Lamar Jackson at quarterback 7, probably one of the lowest I've had him ranked in a long time. But I'm still playing Lamar Jackson over Herbert. I'll play him over Dak Prescott. I'll play him over Burrow. Lamar Jackson, for the most part, needs to be in my starting lineup.
Joe, when you look at guys that are set and forget, must starts, you come into the season with the expectation that Justin Jefferson is one of those guys. But whether it's J.J. McCarthy or Brosmer at quarterback, it feels to me like you're starting to wonder what, if anyone on that Vikings offense is a must start right now.
Yeah, Jordan Addison in particular is just a complete drop. I think T.J. Hawkinson's a complete drop. I liked him a lot entering the year too. It's tough for Jefferson because what are we really going? John Mechie of the Jets? Would you play? Like Dontavian Wicks over Justin Jefferson? Like those are the level of receivers that are available off of waivers, and it's just like, what's the point then? I understand that Jefferson hasn't been playing well. If we were to do this redraft today, is he a 6th round pick or a 7th round pick? I don't know. But the issue is more so, what would you have available to play over Jefferson instead? And I imagine the listeners are in the same sort of spot. That was one of my guys. I liked him as much as I liked CeeDee Lamb. I was picking Jefferson and Lamb. I talked about picked them before. Overall, was one of my favorites that I have between either one of those two. And it's obviously been incredibly disappointing. The reality is, if you have Jefferson, you're probably not doing well in the postseason. because you're not really able to find a bench spot. Maybe you got Michael Wilson in shallower leagues. That's been fantastic the past 2 weeks. Or maybe there will be one that emerges. I don't really clearly know who that will be. It's probably a jet or Titan receiver. But unless you really have capable options, you can't bench Jefferson because the 10 points he gives you is still more valuable than guessing whatever might happen off of waivers. And that's sort of the crux of the issue. And I think, unfortunately, why if you have Jefferson as a first-round pick, you're likely going to be losing in the first couple rounds of playoffs because McCarthy has been that bad, and I don't think Boswell will be any better.
Joe, just kind of looking at one of the big injury situations, Baker Mayfield, him leaving with that AC joint. I mean, Baker Mayfield's been a big part for a lot of people's fantasy teams this year, myself included. Is he if he's able to play this weekend, is that someone that you'd be looking to start, or if you have a backup quarterback, are you putting them in Mayfield's place instead if he plays potentially limited here?
Yeah, I heard you talk about the Baker Mayfield and Mecca-Buka combo. It was frustrating for me as well, too. I think Baker Mayfield, the unfortunate issue is the Buccaneers are really, they just play games with the injury report. So, like, the Packers do that, too, when they load up 35 people on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever it is. That's a lot of fun for us to sort of sort through. The Buccaneers do the other thing where they'll be like, yeah, I mean, these guys are injured. Who knows if they'll actually be available? We won't know until like 7 or 8 weeks if it's Bucky Irving, for example. I don't trust Tampa Bay at all with injury stuff. So if we're talking about 3 games being played Thursday and an additional one being played Friday, there are upwards of 8 quarterbacks that might be unavailable. If you're in that spot where you're playing one of those 8 or Baker Mayfield, it's not a discussion in my mind. I'm playing I'm playing Caleb Williams over Baker Mayfield. Because I just don't want to be in a spot where I'm trusting Tampa Bay to be telling us the truth if he's available. And then there becomes the fact that if Baker does play, I mean, think back to the Browns days, why he ended up being tossed aside for Deshaun Watson, which is comical in hindsight. If Baker is playing limited, to what degree is that offense limited as well, too? And I think that's a little bit concerning. Now, at least their matchup is a little bit better this week than the Rams, which, let's face it, are the best team in the NFC pretty easily. Like they were going to destroy the Buccaneers if Baker was even remotely healthy anyway. I would rather have Justin Herbert. I would rather play Jacoby Brissett over Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones over Baker Mayfield. I mean, these are all guys. It gets down to Tua. I think I'd play Tua against the Saints over Baker Mayfield as well. That's what we're looking at right now, which is probably like quarterback 22, 24 this week. And it's the unfortunate spot, but I just don't trust Buccaneers right now with injury stuff.
RotoWire's Joe Bartel joining us for a couple more minutes here on D.N.D. on the Game Radio Network. From the Talk and Text line, mailman Jeff in Madison asks Cooper Kupp, Jordan Addison, or Jameson Williams. Which one?
I'll play Jameson Williams in that situation. Kupp has too much of a floor. Addison's floor is non-existent. Even if Jameson Williams gets 0 points, you at least have the boom week potential. I do think there'll be points scored between the Lions and Packers. I don't actually know how to pick that game at all. I do feel pretty confident the Packers can hold serve at least. And I think Jameson Williams is going to have to be used at least a little bit because the Lions just can't run the ball out. So I'll say JMO over that group because everyone's floors are low. At least you have the ceiling for Jameson Williams.
Joe, let's touch on 2 more on the Talk and Text line. Is Terry McLaurin worth a stash for fantasy playoffs? Word this week is that there's a possibility he could be back.
Yeah, I mean, we had word a couple weeks ago that Terry McLaurin was going to be back, and he got hurt right away, too. I mean, it depends on what you're costing, right? Like, if McLaurin is, I'll drop my second defense, or I can drop, I don't know, whatever the equivalent of, like, the Emmanuel Wilson role was 2 weeks before Josh Jacobs was injured, fine. I do like Terry McLaurin, like good receivers. Theoretically, that offense could be good if Jaden Daniels comes back. Why the Commanders are doing that, I don't really understand. But it sounds like Jaden Daniels could be making his return as well, too. But realistically, that should be one of your last roster spots because I don't have faith that McLaurin will stay healthy. I don't have faith that Commanders' offense will be all that good either.
And we got Jake and Waukesha with Lamar Jackson or Caleb Williams at quarterback this week.
I'll play Lamar Jackson there. I have a lot of respect for the Eagles' defense, and I think Caleb Williams, not that he's been getting lucky, but there's been some turnover opportunities. And if the Eagles' defense is limiting or if the pass rush is really aggressive, making Caleb Williams scatter a little bit, I would just rather have Lamar Jackson say, here's a floor of 200 yards passing, gets a touchdown against that Bengals defense. Whatever else he gets you more is probably better than what Caleb Williams' floor is.
RotoWire's Joe Bartel kind of spent a few minutes with us. I know we had to jumble the schedule just a little bit for you today. Of course, tomorrow we are off. Well, we're not off because we got the Packers taking on the Lions tomorrow. Don't eat too much pizza on Pizza Day tomorrow, and we'll check back into the next week.
Wait, dude, did I miss something?
You missed something.
I'm not a turkey guy by any means, but let's just have a whole plate full of sides at least. Pizza? No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Doug is anti-turkey.
More. You know what that means, Joe? More for me.
like true Wisconsin, make some brats. What is this pizza?
There we go.
Come on.
That's right.
Oh, my goodness. There's a million other choices besides pizza. Brats and steak. Let's do that instead.
Oh, Steve, I like good steak. I can get on board with that. Joe, great stuff as always. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there you go. This is RotoWire's Joe Bartel joining us here on D.N.D. All right, coming up next, been looking forward to this. Rich Podolsky, he's got a new book out called Madden and Summerall, How They Revolutionized NFL Broadcasting, because these were the guys when I was growing up, when I was getting into football, when it was a big game, these guys were on the call. How did they come together? How did they change broadcasting? How did they change football? Rich Podolsky coming up straight ahead. Will join us and talk about his new book as we continue on this, not quite yet, but almost Drunksgiving Thursday, day before Thanksgiving. Of course, we're all working tomorrow anyway because of the Packers game. On this Wednesday, November 26th, it's D.N.D. Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
Together now and sing out loud. It's all part of my rock and roll fantasy.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Eric Tasker here from Tailgate Talk. Paul Wagner and myself are back with a new show live anywhere you find podcasts. We gather around the tailgate and talk about the gun deer season in Wisconsin, the statewide holiday that is Orange Friday, and some of the DNR's anticipation with a high harvest for this year's gun deer season. It's a great time to be in the woods, but if you need something to get you through your day or driving up to deer camp, just search for Tailgate Talk on the iHeartRadio app or everywhere you find podcasts.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of '67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
Ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone. I'm a going home. My baby used to put me together. My baby used to put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up.
It's a Thanksgiving Day feast as the Packers travel to Detroit, presented by Robert Hack Diamonds. They buy gold. See them in Brookfield or Greenfield. Coverage starts at 8 a.m. on 95.7 Big FM.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In June of '78, Darkness on the Edge of Town is released, Bruce Springsteen's follow-up to his breakthrough album Born to Run. The album charts at number 5.
In the darkness on the edge of town. In the darkness on the edge of town.
Boston-based band The Cars released their debut album. It goes to number 18. It features the singles Just What I Needed and My Best Friend's Girl.
She's my best friend's girl. But she used to be mine.
In July of '78, the Rolling Stones released Some Girls in the U.S. The album and the single Miss You both hit number 1. In August of '78, Boston released their sophomore album, Don't Look Back. The album goes to number 1 in the U.S., selling 4 million copies in its first month.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978 coming up.
Get that turkey in the oven. The Packers on your radio and the family gathered round. It's Thanksgiving time.
We needed a turkey leg this year.
Enjoy the holiday from all of us at the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of '67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
Yeah, ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby put me together. My baby put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967, coming up.
It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave on this eve of Thanksgiving. Coming up tomorrow morning, starting at 8 a.m., Packers game day with me. Kick off with Wayne Larrivee, Larry McCarron, John Kuhn on the sidelines at noon. Packers taking on the Detroit Lions. Now, back in the day, if it was Thanksgiving, it meant John Madden and Pat Summerall. Joining us on the program right now, he's got a new book out that revisits 21 years of NFL broadcasting gold. It's called Madden and Summerall, How They Revolutionized NFL Broadcasting. Author Rich Kowalski joining us here on the Game Radio Network. Rich, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us today. How are you?
Hey, good to be with you guys.
Tell us about this book and the impetus to, writing about these two guys that I grew up with. When I was getting into football as a kid, you knew that if these guys were on the call, you knew that that was the most important game of the week.
You're stealing my material. Look, I work with these guys at CBS. I was a writer for the broadcast shows starting in 1977, and I knew John Madden very well from covering the Miami Dolphins prior to that. And John and I were friends. He came to CBS in '78 as almost not wanting to be a broadcaster, but the agent, Barry Frank, said, look, they're offering you 4 or 5 games. Why don't you take it? And he said, maybe in a few years. But Barry Frank talked him into it by saying, in a few years, they may not want you. And he hated broadcasters. He called the broadcasters who do the games hairdos. And he hated Howard Cosell. And he just thought they weren't doing their homework. They didn't know the rules. They didn't know enough about the players. So when he started doing the games, all he wanted to do was tell the stories he knew about the players. And CBS wasn't giving him any help. The first year he did 4 games. He had a different play-by-play guy each game, a different producer, and a different director. And he had to self-teach himself when to get in and when to get out, and that his stories were too long. And there were some people who wanted to fire him after the first year. He survived that. There was a great story in the first chapter of the book about how he did that, but we don't have time to get into that now. And the second year, they gave him Gary Bender for 6 games. And you people in the Midwest know Gary Bender very well, a really solid play-by-play guy. He became CBS's #1 guy on the NBA, and he helped Madden a tremendous amount to get the hang of everything. There was a while when Madden just hated the headset and the director talking to him, and he would take it off and throw it to the ground and walk out of the booth. But Bender calmed him down, and he really improved a lot. But he still wasn't the John Madden we grew to know until 1981, his 3rd season, when he got paired with Pat Summerall. And there's a great story to that.
Rich, what makes Madden so special? Because I think he's an infectious character that whether on the field or in the booth or as a head coach or anywhere else, everyone wanted to know John. Everyone wanted to meet John. Everyone will always remember his impact because he was the guy.
John, first of all, he had credibility. He came in the broadcasting, having won a Super Bowl as a coach, having 100 plus wins in 10 seasons coaching. Took the Raiders to the AFC championship game, I think 7 or 8 times. He had great credibility. Plus, he was so interesting to listen to. He when he would go to a different city for a game, he'd hang around in the hotel lobby and he'd talk to everybody. He wanted to know where they were from, what their jobs were, and how they got their job, and tell them what the area was like. He had a tremendous desire to find out about people. Now, when he started doing the games, he didn't have the sound effects, the boom and all that stuff, but he got into that once he got comfortable with Summerall. The thing was, he didn't just bring information and entertainment to the game. He brought joy to the game. When he started doing the telestrator, which CBS called the CBS chalkboard, I mean, he was America's teacher. He was the nutty professor of football, but he made it fun. You could see why a play worked. He always used to complain that TV only showed 4-on-4. And he wanted to see 11-on-11 and explain, if this guy didn't make this block, and if this guy didn't pull around to that side of the line, the play wouldn't have worked, and this is why it worked. And he had a tremendous capacity to capture a player's mannerisms, their slang, their essence. And at the same time, he could coach both teams simultaneously better than they were being coached on the field.
Yeah, and being able to thrive in that kind of role, Rich, it all matters who you have as the play-by-play guy along with you. And Pat Summerall, I mean, they just seem to be an absolute perfect. Like, he seemed to be the absolute perfect guy for John. John may not have been the guy for every play-by-play announcer, but Pat Summerall seemed like the perfect guy for him.
Pat was, as a play-by-play guy, Pat Summerall was a minimalist. He learned it from Ray Scott, who you guys all know from the 60s. Ray Scott even did the first Super Bowl for CBS. And Ray Scott would say, star, dollar, touchdown. And that's all he thought you needed. You had the pictures, and Summerall was his analyst in those days, and he learned from that. And in 74, when the head of CBS called him in for a lunch and said, I like your work. He was working with Joe Buck at the time, but I got to split you two guys up. I'm sorry, Jack Buck, not his son, Joe. I got to split you guys up. You sound too much alike. And he said, well, if that's the case, I'd like to switch over to play-by-play. And the boss said, who do you have in mind to work with? He said, there's this guy in Philly I do NFL Films highlights for. His name is Tom Brookshire. And Summerall and Brookshire worked together for 6.5 years, and they were the number one team in the country, and they were great, but they got in too much trouble on the road. There were a lot of funny drinking stories, and some of the stories were not so funny, and they got back to the new boss at CBS in 1980, a guy named Van Gordon Sauter, who didn't know a lot about sports, but he knew talent and he knew television. They brought him in to run the sports department, and he was in love with John Madden. He wanted John Madden to be his number one analyst. And when his executive producer, Terry O'Neill, said, well, have you seen any of his games? He said, no, none of his games have come back to New York. And he had only done 10 games for CBS at the time. Well, how do you know he's the guy if you haven't seen any of his games? And Sauter finally admitted it was from the Miller Lite commercials that he just started to do that year. Then he came bursting through the wall, sidling up to the bartender, and everybody just fell in love with John Madden. He was the everyman that America just fell in love with. And
of course, with that.
That's how he got the job. But Sauter wanted to pair him with Vin Scully. who was the number 2 guy at CBS at the time and for NFL games. Sauter was a West Coast guy and loved Scully. But Terry O'Neill wisely pointed out that Scully wanted to tell stories all the time. Madden wanted to tell stories. There was no room. He said the listener, the viewer would be exhausted by halftime. So they came to an agreement that Scully would work the first 4 games of 81 with Madden, and Summerall would work the second 4 games. And the Monday after that, all the executives would get together in the boardroom for lunch, and they would vote. And the vote was 8-1 with Sauter, the boss, the only one who wanted Scully, but he went along with the choice, and it was such the right choice.
Without a doubt.
All of us. You know, Summerall and Madden, they weren't just good together. They brought the level of the NFL up. They made people want to watch, just like you pointed out. It was the game when you heard Summerall's voice at 1:01 p.m. on a Sunday. They really helped the NFL become much bigger.
What was their relationship like outside of the booth? Sometimes we hear about guys that don't get along away from their place of work, even though they make the most unbelievable team on the air. What were they like apart?
Well, Summerall and Brookshire, to begin with, were inseparable. They would fly together to the game. They would start drinking margaritas from the moment they arrived, and they wouldn't stop drinking until they arrived back in New York the following Monday or Tuesday. Summerall and Madden were completely different. They both had great love and respect for the game and the other guy, but they weren't pals like Brookshire and Summerall were. They went their separate ways. Summerall liked to go out and have dinner with the executives of these teams, have a steak dinner and a martini. And, Madden just wanted to hang out with the young kids that Terry O'Neill hired, the broadcast associates right out of college. A quick story, they got to Washington, D.C. for a game one weekend. There's a note at the hotel from Ethel Kennedy, the widow of RFK. And the note says, "John, we're huge fans of yours. We'd love to have lunch or dinner with you this weekend." And little Mike Arnold, who is now the #1 director at CBS, has done 7 Super Bowls for CBS. But he was just out of college, and little Mike Arnold looks up to John, and he says, "Geez, John, are you going to have dinner with Ethel Kennedy?" And John pauses for a second and looks down at him and says, "Nah, I'm going to have pizza and Mexican food with you guys."
I love that.
And
the people.
That was his type of food. He was that type of guy. And even his best friend, the coach, John Robinson, used to complain when he went on the bus with John that John would never stop at any restaurant that had a tablecloth.
That sounds about right.
I love that.
And you guys know that tomorrow the NFL is honoring Madden in all 3 games. You'll hear a lot about John Madden from the coin flip on.
Yeah.
Well, and he worked for all the networks, though, when all was said and done. I mean, he started out at CBS and then, with the Sunday Night Football program and Monday Night Football. I mean, the two of them, I think the way that they went as a team, I think that speaks volumes about how impactful they were, because as great as they were singularly, just Madden and Summerall together just defined a whole generation of football together, no matter what broadcast they happened to be working for at the time.
You exactly right. They were football. I mean, when Pat died at the funeral, John said there were voices before Pat Summerall and there will be voices after him, but Pat Summerall was the voice of the NFL. And that's exactly how I got it, that you felt when you heard them come on the air. These two guys had tremendous respect for each other. They really loved each other, but they weren't pals off the air. They were great when the red light went on. Madden won 16 Emmy Awards. Summerall won 0, even though Summerall won all these other awards, and he's in the NFL Hall of Fame. But one year they gave Madden his award in August at the CBS training broadcast meeting because he missed getting it in May in New York. And he took it and he handed it right to Pat Summerall and said, "This is the guy who deserves it more than me."
Wow.
Pat Summerall saved his rear end plenty of times when he was going off the deep end on a tangent.
Absolutely. Well, they were professionals together, and they were the voices of an entire generation, and they made football fans, because I'm one of them. And I'm grateful to them, and I'm grateful for this book to be able to revisit exactly what made them so great. Rich Podolsky's new book, it is Madden and Summerall, how they revolutionized NFL broadcasting, revisiting 21 years of NFL broadcasting.
You guys have the link to show the cover of the book?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
There it is. It's sitting on my desk right now. So
it's beautiful.
I've got a pregame show to do tomorrow, but as soon as I get a little time this weekend, I'm going to really dive into this thing because I cannot absolutely wait. Rich, thank you so much for the time. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but continued success with the book. We appreciate you jumping on with us today. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And we'll be thinking about John and Pat tomorrow as they stuff the turducken and they, go through all the things.
Another thing that Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Thank you. There he goes, Rich Podolsky, the new book, Madden and Summerall, how they revolutionized NFL broadcasting. And boy, I tell you what, I mean, these guys, like I said at the beginning, when these guys were on the air together, when, he said 101, 1201 for us here in the Midwest, in the Central Time Zone. When it was those two guys, it was football. It was the big game. It was the only game that really mattered at that time. Especially, when I'm coming through in the 1980s, and the Packers weren't very good yet, but they did get a lot of Packers games as time went on. And that's when you kind of knew that the Packers were on an ascension because John and Pat were on the call. Yeah.
Just an incredible run that those guys had.
Unbelievable run. All right. We are 3 hours down, 1 hour to go here on D.N.D. We got a lot to get to. Ricardo Hallman, Nick had a chance to catch up with the Badgers cornerback. We'll hear from him, also from the Wisconsin State Journal, Jim Polzin. And Bruiser's Bites is coming up straight ahead as well. Stay with us. It is Thanksgiving Eve here on D&D on the Game Radio Network.
You are listening to D&D with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the Game. Who's ready for some Thanksgiving football? The Packers travel to Detroit tomorrow at noon.
Short week, quick turnaround. Bottom line is it's a really good football team that we're going against, obviously. I mean, they've won the North the last few years, and we've struggled against them. So I'm sure it's going to be a heck of a football game.
Doug, Nick, and Dave are previewing every angle all day on the Game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Fleetwood Mac songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Don't Stop.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. You'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone.
Number 2, Dreams. Number 1, Go Your Own Way.
You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day.
Hear more from Fleetwood Mac and similar artists now. Search for Fleetwood Mac on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with a cover of Leadbelly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their ninth studio album, Terrapin Station.
Terrapin, and the whistle is screaming, Terrapin.
In August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley's found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his second solo album, Lust for Life. It's his second collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his fifth album, The Stranger. It goes to number 2 in the U.S. with the single
Want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Sing away now, just for today. Never tomorrow, the good Lord will take you away.
Boston band Aerosmith released their debut album. It fares poorly. It would be re-released in 76 and yield a top 10 hit, Dream On.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, right on down.
Elvis Presley's live TV special, Aloha from Hawaii, is watched by more than 1 billion people worldwide and introduces the world to the rhinestone white jumpsuit. In February of 73, Alice Cooper has a #1 album with Billion Dollar Babies, along with 3 top 40 singles. Elton John also has a #1 album and his first #1 single with Crocodile Rock. Paul McCartney and Wings have a #1 single with My Love, and the Stooges signed to Columbia Records and released their final album, Raw Power, produced by David Bowie. In March, Pink Floyd releases the now legendary Dark Side of the Moon. It goes to #1 and becomes one of the best-selling albums of all time.
And everything under the sun is you, but the sun is a great spot.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973, coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to talk about how he thinks music has changed over the years.
Oh, I think music has, it's either music or it's not, but it's split into so many categories. Actually, it was Clockwork Orange, a writer of Clockwork Orange. His name escapes me right now, but he's an awesome writer. He wrote about that in the 60s, that music was going to fragment, and 14-year-olds wouldn't like 15-year-olds music, and 15-year-olds wouldn't like 16-year-old music, and it's really kind of how it's come down.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the game.
Isn't this our Friday anthem?
Oh yeah, but it's kind of sort of the weekend for.
We're all
basically
working
everyone
tomorrow.
else.
We're all working on Friday.
Well, yeah, not us, but everyone else.
Yeah, I
They're going to have
suppose.
the next couple of days off.
That's true.
So it's not all about you, Doug. It's not all about you.
Bite your tongue. Nobody believes that.
Good point. Yeah. just like Armin, we got to tell him all the time. It's like, hey, Armin, this isn't about you. Stop making it about you.
Final hour of D&D. What are we going to play on Friday? We only have a 2-hour show on Friday.
Yeah. Christmas music, maybe. I don't know. We keep on getting calls for requests.
Yeah, we're not.
It's like, unfortunately, we are not the Christmas music station. Our former station is.
Couple of things here. We're not a Christmas station.
No.
And it's not Christmas season yet.
No.
It's not going to be Christmas season until at least Friday.
Yeah.
At the earliest on Friday.
Yes.
Because
There's
if it's
snow on
always
the ground.
if it's always Christmas season, it's never Christmas season.
Yeah.
I love Christmas season because it's
Me
special.
too.
And you know what makes things special? Scarcity. Scarcity makes things special.
Right.
So, they have those little calendar things, like so many different decorations with the days until Christmas, right?
They're called Advent calendars.
Advent calendars, yeah. With a little chocolate.
Yeah, but like non-Advent calendars. Like at my house, I had just like a knitted,
calendar?
It was like a knitted calendar with a candy cane on it, and you would move it each day as you approached Christmas. So it wasn't necessarily an Advent calendar, but it was a decoration of sorts.
So you move the candy cane instead of opening the door for the chocolate.
Essentially,
Yeah. Okay.
right. I mean, it's just a marker. I mean, I've seen wooden ones at Hobby Lobby that are like here days until Christmas, and you just turn the thing based on the days until Christmas.
Yeah.
It starts at 31.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that be November 25th or 24th? That would be the beginning of Christmas season.
No, Christmas season doesn't start until after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I've always been that way, but the decorations denote
wrong.
a specific day.
According to my advent calendar, we're 3 days away from Christmas. So
Oh, you've been eating that.
eating the chocolate. Yeah.
Well,
just
because Dave
going
has a
through.
sweet tooth.
Yeah.
That's why he keeps raiding my office. That's why he keeps going in there for the chocolates that are in the.
To replace the chocolate.
Yeah, I noticed it's only 3 Musketeers left in there. And
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I wonder.
You don't like Three Musketeers, I take it.
Not so much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all
Shannon
right,
took,
but like
Shannon took something today. She popped into my office for a second. So.
Okay.
But she's about ready to go on maternity leave soon. So
yeah, she's eating for 2. So she can have all the candy she wants.
She can have, absolutely she can.
Yeah.
Thanks to Rich Podolsky for joining us from the he's got a new book out. Again, revisiting 21 years of NFL broadcasting gold. It's called Madden and Summerall. So we appreciate his time and really had a good time with that conversation. Again, coming up tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Packers game day. That goes until 10. Then it's Packers preview. Kickoff is at noon with Wayne and Larry. All right. As we begin the final hour of the last show before Christmas season begins, we begin this final hour with what we begin with every 1 o'clock hour on this show, and that is the award-winning, and you cannot miss it. We call it Bruiser's Bites.
Time now for Bruiser's Bites.
It's time for Bruiser's Bites today, maybe slightly abbreviated because we got a lot of action still here in our final hour of programming on D.N.D. But as always, they're brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, wiconcretecoatings.com. You can find all their great work there. Their coating, polyurea coating, is 6 times stronger than your traditional epoxy. So this time of year, you don't want to slip and fall in your garage. You don't want a nasty garage floor, easy to clean, slip resistant when wet. Visit wiconcretecoatings.com to see how soon you can get your garage to look like all those that they have worked on over the years. We'll begin with Christian Watson, who is well back in action after missing a handful of games to open the year with his knee injury, suffered a torn ACL last January. Came back pretty quickly and has been playing really well since he's returned. He was asked about the Detroit Lions and comparing them between week 1 and where they're at now. This is his opinion on where the Lions are at.
We always expect teams to be better, the second time you play them, but, even more so 12 weeks down the line. So we're definitely expecting, a 4-quarter fight. I mean, we know we have ways to exploit them and make plays and get after them. So.
Wasn't quite a 4-quarter fight in week 1. The Packers took care of business. That one ended up being closer than it really was. Late touchdown by Isaac Tesla. An opportunity to see the Packers the second time for Detroit. So if the Lions are a different team, are they better, worse, or potentially still the same group that you felt you saw in week 1?
I don't think they're better because they've struggled the last couple of weeks. And I think the Lions are really a good team, but they've kind of gone through it a little bit. They've changed their play caller from John Morton to Dan Campbell. I'm not sure that that's a positive step in the right direction, although we had Jeff Rieger on yesterday, and everyone seems in Detroit like they are celebrating that change. I'm not sure if that's a great change, although they put up points against the Giants, but then again, it's the Giants. On the other hand, they really struggled defensively against New York. They're a different team. I'm just not sure that they're a better team. I don't know. We'll find out, but they're still really talented. It's an important game for the Packers, certainly, but yeah, I'm not convinced that Detroit, they'll be better at home, I guess. That'll help them. But I'm not convinced that they're a better team than what we saw in week 1 at this stage of the game.
Yeah, I'm not convinced they're better either. I think when you go through the amount of injuries that they've had, you don't have Kirby Joseph. That certainly isn't going to make you a better team. Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch have also been injured here. That's not going to make you a better team. Their offensive line has seen a lot of injuries and changes as well. That's not going to make you a better team. So they're still good. They're still very talented, but it's going to be a challenge. But I'm with Doug. I can't really say that they're a better team now than they were back in week 1. They're a different team. The Packers are a different team now than they were in week 1.
Well, in week 1, Micah Parsons was making his Packers debut, and now he is well underway, having a hell of a season in Green Bay. And he was asked about playing on 3 days rest. It's going to be the second time that he's done it this year. This is what he had to say about that.
Recovery and mentality, just understanding, get the gist. Like, you obviously don't get the full game plan week. You just try to squeeze it in. So you got to do more time on your own or have an understanding of how you're going to be attacked. So just more on the mental and just recovery.
Everybody is operating on 3 days rest. So my question for you guys is that, are the elite of elite then at an advantage in this matchup? Because they're the best, so they should inevitably be able to overcome at the highest level with a lack of rest. So I think Micah Parsons has an advantage on short rest compared to the offensive line on the other side.
It's an interesting question. And I would also say, because Micah Parsons has done this through the first 4 years of his NFL career being in Dallas, and they also every year play on Thanksgiving, maybe that gives him an inherent advantage as well, just knowing, how to attack these short weeks, especially this late in the season. Yeah, I mean, I think that the elite can remain elite. I honestly, I've never really thought of it in those terms. So it's a thought-provoking question that you bring up. I'd say probably. I mean, just kind of thinking through it in my own mind. I mean, that's what makes these guys special. It's what makes them different. It's their motor. It's their motivation. It's the intangibles that make a Hall of Famer a Hall of Famer. Because listen, there's a lot of guys who can get to the quarterback. There's a lot of guys who can, affect what offenses do, but there's only a very small amount that do it on a game in, game out, year in, year out, play in, play out basis. We talked about Myles Garrett earlier in the program. I think Micah Parsons is one of those guys as well. So it's a long way of answering a really good question. I'd say probably yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but let's say with 3 days rest, across the board, let's say you're 10%, less productive in terms of, getting your body right, 10%, 20%, pick whatever number that you want. If you're that much further down from where your top end ability is playing on a full week's rest, if that's the same across the board, Micah Parsons is still going to be higher. He's going to have that higher floor available to him than other players, just because he is that elite kind of a guy. If that's the same for elite and non-elite players, just 3 days rest, boom, they're dropping down this much. Micah Parsons is still going to be, a level above everyone else. So yeah, I think he could have that advantage. And I'm not sure that that's exactly how it works, but if that is something at least close to how that recovery timeline would work, then yeah, I think Micah Parsons and being an elite player does give you a bit of an advantage.
A couple of moves from the Packers today. They have officially released Lucas Havrasik. So McManus is the guy. Absolutely the
Farewell,
guy
sweet
at kicker.
prince.
Yeah, we'll miss you.
They have signed wide receiver Will Shepard from their practice squad to the active roster with the potential maybe he could be their next punt returner. So, just a couple of transactions, not much reaction there.
Put Bo
for
Melton
us
back
to
at
have.
corner.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm assuming Bo Melton is required at corner. They've also had an opportunity here to bring up Jalen Simpson and Jamon Johnson. Simpson, a cornerback, Johnson, a linebacker, which could suggest Quay and Hobbs or Nixon may not be ready to go for this matchup. So just some moves, just putting it out there for everyone to hear. Dan Campbell had some comments about his offense and how they have to be efficient against the Packers.
You play some of that game. At some point, when that opportunity arises, we got to hit on that, and you don't know when it's going to be, but you got to be able to hit. And then you got to get some yak, some of these underneath throws, you got to get some yak. And that's what our guys will be charged with. Our players on this team, our playmakers, they're going to have to put it in their hand, tuck it away, and go make something happen.
It says yak weird.
Yak.
Get some yak.
Gotta get some yak.
Yak.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
You got to get some yak,
Gotta some yak.
I mean, it's just how he talks.
Fight some knee yaks off.
Yeah.
If there's something about Detroit and their offensive attack that makes you guys nervous, individually, maybe you guys, if Doug says one guy, Dave, you could pick another guy just to figure out maybe two guys that could be concerning to Packers fans this weekend.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And those are obvious, right? And,
Sure.
and so as much as you think the Lions may not be the same team as they were last year, I mean, those are two top,
those are
at minimum 5 or 10 players at their position in football.
Those guys, Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the most electric players in football. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the most solid and steady wide receivers in the National Football League. I mean, I think the Packers, maybe more for Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Packers defensive secondary, specifically at cornerback, is a little bit more depleted. I think they, defend the run and have defended the run fairly well lately. So maybe that will help, kind of at least contain Gibbs. But I mean, they've got weapons. The Detroit Lions are still a great football team. They really are. They just have to, I think, play better football than what they've done the last couple of weeks, but they can still put up points. I mean, I don't sleep on this team at all. If anybody's counting out the Lions just because they played poorly against the Giants last week, I think that's a fool's errand. That's a good way to get burned. But I mean, there are weapons. I think Jared Goff's still a good quarterback too. I mean, there's a lot that they're bringing to the table tomorrow. So yeah, you can say Gibbs, you can say Amon-Ra St. Brown,
Jameson Williams.
Yeah, I mean, even on the offensive line, you want to go Penei Sewell. He's a pretty damn good offensive lineman. They've got weapons. This is a good football team that the Packers are going up against tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to make for a fantastic matchup. But yeah, they got the weapons. They got the players, and there's really kind of no shortage of those options. So that's what makes these games that much more fun, that much more exciting to go through. And I think no matter what, we're going to be looking at a close battle here, either direction. I don't think either team's going to end up running away with this like we saw the Packers do against the Vikings this past week.
Are you guys familiar with the Sham Wow?
Yeah.
Sham Wow.
All I can say is Sham Wow. Yeah.
Vince Offer, that clown.
Yeah, Vince Offer, Vince Shlomi, I believe, might be his real name.
Wait, Vince Offer's not his real name? Stop.
He has a stage name?
Well, Vince Offer has an offer for voters down in Texas.
The ShamWow guy, Vince Shlomi, is running for Congress and is looking to wipe the floor with the competition. The once prominent infomercial pitchman filing as a Republican to represent Texas's 31st congressional district, a seat held by Republican Representative John Carter, who's already announced he will be seeking re-election. The former pitchman told Fox News he wants to destroy wokeism in Congress and that he's been motivated by the political infighting in the country to run and make America happy.
All right, Shlomi tossing his hat into the ring. I'll say this. Arrested in 2009 and arrested again in 2013 after getting into a slugfest with an alleged prostitute.
Yeah.
Perfect for Congress.
I was going to say, this makes them these are not detriments anymore for anybody running for Congress.
Yeah.
Right.
These are resume builders for the clowns that we've got in Washington right now.
Dr. Oz ran. I mean, a lot of these people are running.
Yeah.
What percent chance do you think you give Shlomi to win?
Probably pretty good.
Yeah.
He sold a lot of slap chops.
Yeah.
Sold a lot of ShamWows.
ShamWow. I wish I did. I want to know the pain or the lack of production that in the commercials, it sucked up everything.
Yeah.
Man, you wrung it right out and it was dry again.
I want to suck up the corruption. Use that.
I did buy a
need
slap
to clean
chop.
up the mess.
I did buy a slap chop from this clown.
Nice.
Did it work?
No, it worked for a while, but it was a piece of junk.
Slap chop.
I mean, it wasn't expensive, so it was like, all right, this guy, he's a good pitch man. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
He's entertaining as hell. So that gives him a puncher's chance to make it to Congress. I don't think he's going to be an effective congressman. It depends on how seriously the 32nd district, you said, a congressional district in Texas? 31st congressional district. It depends on how seriously they take their lives down there, because I don't think he's going to bring you anything as a resident of the 31st congressional district.
Well, he's running against, they said, John Carter, the incumbent, who decided he's running again. John Carter is 84 years old. He is older than the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Didn't Chuck Grassley, didn't he say that he's running at 95 in Iowa?
I don't know. But either way, it's like, okay.
Generational wealth that they all can continue to.
Yeah.
Listen,
if you want to get younger,
all I beg for the world is two words: term limits.
Yeah.
Or age limits. What? Give me one of them. Give me one of them.
Yeah, so then maybe we need to go with the ShamWow guy because, otherwise you got an 84-year-old representing that district. And you go, okay, at least the ShamWow guy is younger.
Politicians are like diapers. They should be changed often and for the same reason.
Okay.
Yep.
And on
That's
more
a bar,
positive,
Doug. That's a bar right there.
On a more positive note, Hugh Jackman will be in Greenfield
Let's
on
go.
Tuesday serving food up at Cops. So you're going to have an opportunity to meet Hugh Jackman.
So can Wolverine and Milverine, can they get together and be in the same place at the same time?
We need this.
America needs
Somebody
this.
call Milverine.
I don't know. Does he have a phone? Does
I don't
Milverine
know.
have a phone? How do we contact Milverine? It's like Batman,
Do
just
we
with
need
a
to put
signal.
out a signal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I love this
we
on
need
so
it to
many
happen.
levels.
We need to find it out there on Twitter, on Facebook. Someone, if you know Milverine, let him know to be at Cops Frozen Custard when Hugh Jackman is there.
I guess
this has to
out the
happen.
door, I have some more parting thoughts from a fan of NFL action. I'll consume it all. Tomorrow, you better soak in the primetime games. I think all games on Thanksgiving are considered primetime because Sunday Night Football is the 9-2 Denver Broncos on the road at the 3-win Commanders.
Yeah, baby.
Before Monday Night Football is the 2-win Giants on the road at the 10-win Patriots now. So Broncos, Commanders, Giants, and Patriots are your two Sunday night and Monday night football games.
All I will say is that Broncos Commanders seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
at the time,
it felt good. And who knows? Maybe the Giants and the Patriots were supposed to be like two terrible teams battling it out. I don't know. I mean, Pats have certainly exceeded expectations.
I think ESPN got last rights to pick for Monday night there.
Maybe.
Yeah. And by the way, the reason that Hugh Jackman is going to be at the Greenfield Cops is because of their new movie. I think we've talked about it on the show, Song Sung Blue. The true story of Mark Sardine and his wife, Claire, who's played by Kate Hudson. And they are positioning this thing as a potential Oscar nominee. It's going to be a Christmas release. It is a quintessential, true, and very weird Milwaukee story. And it's got some serious star power with Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman.
Oh, yeah.
Headlining this sucker.
That sounds incredible. I can't wait for it. And I got to get some frozen custard as well.
While
I'm there.
The special flavor is Song Sung Blueberry.
Oh, there we
nice.
go. All right. That's nice. Very well done by Cops.
The Neil Diamond tribute band that was Lightning and Thunder. A quintessential, true, and weird Milwaukee story.
It's always fun to do Bruisers Bites. So sometimes I can work in some random stories, and
I enjoy
Vince
that.
Shlomi, hey man, you do you. Whatever you can do, I guess.
Hey, Tommy Tuberville has gone from coach to senator, and who else?
He wants to be governor now, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's moving to that next. And then they're talking about Nick Saban maybe taking over as senator or something.
It's a shame the
next in
OxyClean guy
Alabama.
died. OxyClean.
Yeah,
Billy Mays.
Billy Mays here for OxyClean. Yeah,
he could have ran for sure. But as always, Bruisers Bites brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings.
Yeah, and Billy Mays had too much cocaine, and that was the end of Billy Mays. Sadly, rest in
maybe
peace.
he mixed up his cocaine and OxyClean, and it's just
Ooh,
a terrible
that'll do
chemical
it.
reaction.
That'll do it. Ugh. So sorry, Billy.
It happens.
It happened. It's just a misunderstanding. All right, Nick, you had a chance to catch up with Ricardo Hallman, Badgers cornerback. We'll hear that conversation coming up in just a few minutes. Also, Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal. He's going to join us at about 1:35, final hour of D.N.D. on this Wednesday, November 26th. It is the day before Thanksgiving and the day before the Packers take on the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. Stay with us. The NicoletLaw.com talk and text line always open to you as well at 877-794-1973. It's D&D, Doug, Nick, and Dave here on the Game Radio Network.
I'm doing this tonight. You're probably gonna start a fight.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D&D will be back in just a moment. It's that time of the year again. Time for turkey and football.
All right, KB has a learn about Larrivee question for us. First item that you put on your plate. Do you go for like turkey, side dish, or is it whatever is within arm's reach?
I go for the mashed potatoes.
Yeah, you know what? That's what I figured. Everybody seems to go mashed potatoes first.
Yeah, mashed potatoes. Make sure there's some room for them.
Yep.
Put a little scoop in them so you have a place to put the gravy.
You need a gravy
Then I want
lake.
the stuffing, and then I want to lay the turkey over the stuffing. You see, and then I go for the whatever green vegetables they have.
Mm-hmm.
That's intricate. I like that.
That's it. You got to have the gravy
You
lake.
tell Wayne's a football guy. He's got a diagram, and he's got you go here.
Yeah, and that leads to this over
then,
here.
The
last thing I put in is the cranberry sauce.
Okay. Jellied or with hunks of cranberry in it?
I grew up in the 60s on jelly.
Yes.
I still prefer jelly.
It's got to have the ridges
Right
like
out
it
of the
just
can.
came out of the can. Absolutely.
That's how we like it.
No doubt.
Yes.
And there's got to be
Wait
nothing
a minute.
healthy about that.
Everybody does it that way, don't they?
All due respect to the cranberry growers up north, like we like the canned stuff.
Oh, they still have to
The
supply
fresh
the
stuff.
cranberries.
I know, but the fresh stuff, if it's got cranberries floating in it, it's too real.
Or like you get one of those grandmas that just cooks up cranberries. It's like, what the hell is this, Nana?
Yeah, that's not
Jelly that stuff up.
And then Wayne, are you like me? You put one or two rolls like on top of everything, and then just make yourself a sandwich mid-meal. I do that too.
I will put a roll in there because I don't want to miss the carb.
Oh yeah,
No,
can't. Got to.
From our game family to your family, happy Thanksgiving.
Being a teenager is tough. There's the constant pressure to be liked,
Endless worrying about college.
cyberbullying, high expectations, all the negativity.
There's no question. Being a teenager is tough. And what do Wisconsin's teens do when they want to block out the noise and clear their heads?
We play!
Research shows that teenagers who participate in high school sports have lower stress levels, more confidence, and greater self-esteem. And then there's the biggest benefit of all.
High school sports are fun.
Not just fun.
They're a lot of fun.
Encourage your teenagers to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school. They'll stress less and smile more. And they'll be laying the foundation for a happier, healthier future.
This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Wisconsin Badger basketball. It's holiday tournament time as the Badgers take on Providence this Thursday. Coverage starts at 4 o'clock on Fox Sports 920 WOKY.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Led Zeppelin released their fifth album, Houses of the Holy. It goes to number 1 in the US and the UK and yields the top 20 hit Dire Maker.
But I still love you so, and I can't let you go. I love you.
The Doobie Brothers released their top 10 album, The Captain and Me, with the singles Long Train Runnin' and China Grove. And in June, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm have a top 10 album buoyed by the single Rocky Mountain Way. Also in June of 73, George Harrison scores the number 1 single, Give Me Love, from the number 1 album, Living in the Material World. And Chicago's 6th album goes to number 1 with 2 top 10 hits, Just You and Me and Feeling Stronger Every Day. In July, 600,000 Jam Watkins Glen for Summer Jam, the largest rock festival ever held in the U.S. It features the band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. And in August, those same Allman Brothers released their first album after the death of Duane Allman and had their only hit single with Ramblin' Man, which goes to number 2.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Hey there, people. This is Mark Maron, and I host the podcast WTF with Mark Maron, which is available on iHeartRadio. Honestly, I think we could all listen to each other a little bit more, and I think it's a healthy thing. I listen to all sorts of people, comedians, actors, musicians, directors, writers, even a president. They come into my garage, and we have a conversation about all the big stuff in life. Go check it out, WTF with Mark Maron, right here on iHeartRadio.
have to have Matt Miller in closer
Yeah.
to the premiere of Song Sung Blue?
Absolutely.
Because this is, again, I love Milwaukee stories. I love any Wisconsin, well, perhaps with the one that Netflix did last year about a certain
serial killer.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Which one?
Ed Gein. Netflix
Nasty
did
work.
Yeah.
Nasty work.
But
I thought it was the other serial killer.
no, not that one. They've
Yeah.
done that one too. That was more
Yeah.
of a, I think that was more
They
of a
just
series.
love Wisconsin murderers.
Well, there's been
We've got quite a few.
There's been an unfortunate couple of them that have been quite notorious that have made a lot of headlines. But this is not the story of that. This is just the story of a Neil Diamond tribute band that will be played by Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue. There was a documentary about, 10, 15 years ago, but Craig Brewer, who's the writer and director of the film, he just couldn't get it out of his head and just needed to write a feature film about it. And they're positioning it as an Oscar contender. So that's why Hugh Jackman's coming into town. And I cannot wait to see this movie in all of its Milwaukee weirdness.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be fun.
That'll be fun. Nick, you had a chance to catch up with Badgers cornerback Ricardo Holman after practice earlier this week.
To go out like that on senior day, to perform in the way that you guys did, I just think it couldn't have gotten any better. What did you make of Saturday's win over Illinois?
It was awesome. It was amazing. I don't think we could have went out any other way at the camp. There was no better way to go out. Definitely bittersweet. And obviously with the field storming, and then I think we played our most complete game of the season as a team together. So, yeah, it was no other way I would have rather went out. That was awesome.
Your boy DP, you guys been through a lot together. To come out now here and finish how he has this season, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, 5.5 sacks over the last 2 weeks. I have to imagine there's a level of pride that you have for your guy.
Oh, no, I'm super excited. Just because I've seen this guy, I literally see him work every single day. I always knew he had it in him. It was just a matter of everybody else saying, and I'm so glad over these last 2 weeks he's been able to show the dominant talent that he is. And hopefully one more, he gets another 3 sacks. That would be great in Minnesota, but I'm super proud of him and the way he's working right now.
Reflecting on your journey, you transition from one coaching staff to the next. You have a relationship with the first 2 guys, that head coach Paul Chris, Jim Leonard, of course, interim basis. Now you've had 3 years with Coach Fickell. They're all different guys. Do you feel like in your time here at Madison, you've gotten a pretty well-rounded understanding of the sport of football?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yes, sir. Yeah, and I've been a part of 2 different philosophies as a part of head coaching with Coach Chris and Coach Fickell, and I've equally learned just as much from both of them. I think they were both great leaders, and I think they were both great leaders of men, and both did a really good job in developing me and enhancing my skills as far as football and helping me become a better man as well, too.
You've had the opportunity to be at one program the entire time. That's not the reality for many anymore. The decisions certainly have become a little different as the NIL era and modern college football has evolved. To be here for your entire career, what do you make of that? Because, some guys are kindly asked to leave, and certainly you were one of those guys that they were kindly asking to stay, and that was the reality.
Yeah. No, it is awesome just because, with the nature of how college football is, like you said, it's a revolving door now. New guys here and there. Some guys are getting asked to leave their schools, and I take it as a blessing that I was able to be here the whole time, that this staff wanted me here the whole time, that this team wanted me here the whole time. So, yeah, obviously, everybody entertains the thought of transferring or anything like that. But for me, I would say it was never a thought that lasted. I knew there was no mistake in me being here, and this was the place I always wanted to be. So I'm grateful I got the opportunity to finish out here.
When we first made contact 2 years ago, I asked you if you were going to start a boy band, who your bandmates would be, and Daryl Peterson was one of those guys, and along with him, Will Pauling and Quincy Burrows. And relationships like that are half the battle, essentially half the experience. Mm-hmm. So the brotherhood of football and how much is given back to you in your life, would you have had it any other way? Was there any other decision you could have made, or was football always the right one?
No, football. I think football was always the right one. Like you said, just the brotherhood, the relationships I developed here. These guys are going to be my best friends for life. Probably DP's going to be the best man at my wood, and that's my brother. And so I would not have rather had it any other way. And I think this is the best possible outcome I could have ever had.
When you consider your personal values, right? You've certainly been outspoken in your faith, yes, and how important that is to you as a human being. And I think there's certainly a great value in that, as a leader, to carry those values, whether for faith-related purposes or just leadership purposes. To see that kind of now come to a conclusion here and recognize that your value is greater than football, I think you're a hell of a football player as well. So to have that marriage together, to be able to live your life, how has maybe Wisconsin allowed you to be the exact person you want to be?
Like I said, I was just doing a senior interview kind of earlier, and Wisconsin built me into the man I am. I came here as a 17-year-old kid, and now I'm leaving here as a 22-year-old man. I've been developed in all my ways. Like you said, my faith in Jesus Christ, my faith has been developed. My relationship with God has been developed, and just everything. This place has really molded me and to become the person I am today. So it's just been awesome as I reflect on my time here, on my journey here. Like I said, I wouldn't have rather had it any other way. And I think this is a really, really, really special place.
We'll end with this. Minnesota is the last one left. You guys, unfortunately, weren't able to hold on to that axe last year. Mm-hmm. Rivalry games are something special. You've been a part of a handful of them now. This is your chance to maybe leave that lasting image with that axe in your hand as you walk off the field for the final time as a Badger. What does Saturday mean to you?
It means everything. Like I said, the Illinois win was great. It was awesome to win the senior night game and finish it off in the camp. But we know this is the most important game. No matter what our record is, we can both be 0-12. There's going to be a bloodbath and there's going to be a fight. And if you lose this game, your season doesn't matter. So it's just, at the end of the day, looking forward to going up there, going into their stadium, getting the win, getting that ass back, putting it back where it deserves to be. So I'm super, super excited for the challenge ahead, and I'm super excited to end it off the right way.
Badgers
Ricardo Hallman.
Yes, Badgers cornerback Ricardo Hallman. Good stuff.
There we go.
From Nick there as the Badgers get set to take on Minnesota on Saturday, the battle for the axe at Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Joe in Pike Lake writes, fun fact, Goody picked Amari Rogers over Amon-Ra St. Brown. Well, Amon-Ra St. Brown was a fourth rounder, so everybody passed on Amon-Ra St. Brown at least a couple
times.
He has
that list of 14 guys or whatever that were drafted ahead of him. And it's a funny story from receiver, his longtime girlfriend, I believe fiance, but long story short, his longtime significant other had told him, hey, 14 wide receivers were drafted in front of you. That's why he's number 14.
Makes sense.
It turns out there were 15. And so he's number 14 for no reason. No, I believe there are 15 wide receivers that went before him, but his girlfriend miscounted.
And Scott in Milwaukee wants to know what happened to the St. Brown that played for the Packers, Equinemius St. Brown.
Yeah.
I did have to look it up. He was a member of the practice squad for the San Francisco 49ers until they released him. They had an injury settlement with him. Played for the Packers from 2018 to 2021. Bears for a couple of years. Played for the Saints last year. And right now, currently, as we speak today, is a free agent.
Yeah, Amon-Ra got the bulk of the talent in that family.
That's why I went to USC.
There.
Yeah. Fight on.
Well, his dad was like a bodybuilder. I mean, those boys were lifting when they were like 10. And there's an older brother than both Equinemius and Amon-Ra who wasn't able to fulfill, any sort of professional sports career. 16 wide receivers ahead of Amon-Ra. So she miscounted by 2.
Oh, geez.
It happens.
It's unacceptable. But there was a story on HBO Real Sports about the St. Brown family, and Dad's a bit of a stage father. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah,
he is. Dad's an interesting character.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got
like
the
Jim.
sons. His name is John.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward, normal name. His sons, Osiris, Equinemius, and Amon-Ra.
And then added the Saint.
Yeah.
Because the family name is Brown.
Yeah.
He added the Saint because it sounds better.
Yeah, I mean,
Dad's an interesting cat.
Very interesting.
Jim Polzin, also an interesting cat in a different way.
Very different way.
He'll join us coming up next as we wrap up things for this Wednesday, November 26th. It's the day before Thanksgiving. Stay with us. D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave on the Game Radio Network.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. It's Thanksgiving, a time to be thankful, and we at The Game are grateful to you for listening to us have fun on the radio each and every day. Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you from The Game.
After a weekend in Nevada, the Milwaukee Admirals return home Wednesday when they host the Iowa Wild for the first time this season.
Hits the Rockford line, delays. Afanasiev in the slot. He shoots and scores. Igor Afanasiev.
Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and the iHeartRadio app.
It's a Thanksgiving Day feast as the Packers travel to Detroit, presented by Robert Hack Diamonds. They buy gold. See them in Whitfield or Greenfield. Coverage starts at 8 a.m. on 95.7 Big FM.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
Oh, the band on the run. Band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you own. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with the cover of Lead Belly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album, Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their ninth studio album, Terrapin Station.
Terrapin and the whistling screaming. Terrapin.
In August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley's found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his second solo album, Lust for Life. It's his second collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his fifth album, The Stranger. It goes to number 2 in the U.S., with the single Just the Way You Are rising to number 3.
I want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Billy Joel songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, My Life.
I don't care what you say anymore. This is my life. Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone.
Number 2, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Nowadays you can't be too sentimental. Your best bet's true, baby blue continental. Hot funk, cool punk, even if it's old junk, still rock and roll to me.
Number 1, Uptown Girl.
Uptown girl, she's been living in her right great world. As long as anyone would hot the can. And now she's looking for a downtown man. That's what I am.
Hear more from Billy Joel and similar artists now. Search for Billy Joel on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
The entire world watched.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And humanity saw that the sky was not the limit. Achievement, pass it on, from the foundation for a better life.
Final segment of D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, Dave Gasper here on the Game Radio Network. Coming up tomorrow, of course, at 8 a.m., it is Packers Game Day. Kickoff is at noon. If you're listening in Madison on 1310 WIBA or 101.5 FM WIBA FM. If you're listening in Milwaukee, it'll be on the big 95.7 FM. If you're listening throughout the rest of the states, check your local listings, as they say. Or you can find it on the iHeartRadio app. If you're within like 100 miles of Milwaukee, I think is what the rule is. Or you can find it on Packers.com. One way or another, you'll find. I know a lot of people are traveling today, so hopefully you can find it somewhere. But if you go to Packers.com on a desktop computer or a laptop, you can find it there too. So
there we go.
I'm just trying to get you your Wayne and Larry. Listen, I understand. We got to get you guys what you want.
We got to give the people what they want, and what they want is some Jim Polzin.
What they do want is Wayne Larrivee and Larry McCarron. What we want right now, and what the people want, is Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal. Hey, Jim, how are you today?
What a segue, guys. That was great.
We are the masters
what they want
of the segue.
Larry and Wayne. What they're going to get, I mean, what we also want is, come on.
We all want and need our weekly dose of Jim Polzin. Let's talk about the Badgers for a second, because this is a football team that, I mean, we've beaten up pretty good. And I'll look in the mirror before anybody else. I mean, I've beaten this team up pretty good this year. I don't think it was unwarranted when we were beating them up, but they have really rebounded. A year ago, I think there was a lot of quit in this team. I hated the way that they ended their season last year. I feel no matter what the final record looks like, I feel infinitely better about the way that they're going into the 2025-26 offseason than they did the 24-25 offseason.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The caveat being that this roster is going to go through some pretty hefty turnover in a couple weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. So, I mean, I think the attitude, I think you're right. Like they've seemed to have established some sort of identity. I think the guys, they've got some really talented young guys in the system that we are probably more confident in than we were a year ago. Like a year ago, we thought maybe that Dylan Jones and Darian Dupree and those types of guys could be players. I think now we know that Mason Posa and Cooper Catalano and some others are definite cornerstones. So I do think there's more of a knowledge about this team than there was a year ago. I will say this though, depending on what happens Saturday, I think 5-7 with the X in the trophy case looks way different than 4-8 with an empty trophy case. I think this game has tremendous meaning to it. And doesn't take away anything you said about, having kind of established something here down the stretch, but this game is huge in terms of how it sends you into the offseason.
Jim, it was announced today that the Badgers were able to flip Boston College commit and 4-star offensive lineman Brady Beckenheis for this next season. It became pretty evident that they needed to address that spot once they lost both commits for next year. In both Novak and Cochran, but this guy's rated higher. So I got to give credit to them, at least on paper. They might have improved their class in terms of talent at that spot by quickly addressing it here.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give them credit for getting somebody in there and in such a late date on the calendar. I don't know. Like I never know what the stars mean, and I don't know who's going to be better. And I hate predicting that. I think offensive line is probably the hardest position to predict. So, I think you did not want to go into this class with no offensive linemen. So to get one late and to get a pretty well-regarded guy, I think that, I think there's some value to that. The Novak one still kind of hurts because you spent so much time recruiting him, and he was committed for so long that, let's not pretend that this wasn't a guy they really, really wanted. But, yeah, good rebound, certainly, by Luke Fickle and his staff.
And being able to protect your quarterback, I mean, it's incredibly important, obviously, to keep that offensive line room full of recruits. What's your sense, Jim, of what that quarterback room could be looking like heading into next season? I mean, obviously, Carter Smith seems like the guy right now. But in terms of building the rest of the room out and bringing guys in, could they hit the transfer portal again? What's your sense of Carter Smith in that quarterback room?
Yeah, it's a great question going into the offseason, Dave. I think certainly they need to go get a guy or two in the transfer portal. Just from a pure numbers standpoint, you need at least one guy just to have enough bodies. It's the question is who is that guy and what type of guy is he? I think a lot of fans are eager to see if they put their money where their mouth is and spend a lot. If you go out and get an absolute dude that you can spend a lot of money on and you outbid other teams on, and he's a automatic day one starter, potential difference maker, then yes, you go out and get him. I'm a little skeptical that type of guy is going to choose Wisconsin, even if he gets a lot of money thrown at him. So then are you going out and getting a kind of second tier, third tier guy? And then what does that mean for Carter Smith? Because I do think he's shown some stuff down the stretch. He certainly hasn't shown you definitively that he's the guy going forward. I think there's a little bit of caught in between here. I see the talent. I see a guy that if he develops can be a really good player here for a long time. But we don't know that yet. 3 games isn't enough data to let us know how good he is. So I'm curious, if they don't end up with someone who's a surefire starter and Carter Smith gets kind of a runway into the offseason where he's the guy and they can spend, day in and day out developing him, we're going to arrive next August and know more about him. But it's really the number one question heading in the offseason, what they do at quarterback. And I do think they're going to add at least one there. But I'm curious to see what level they can get for that guy.
From the Wisconsin State Journal, Jim Polzin joining us here on D.N.D. I want to change gears, talk about the Packers tomorrow. Of course, they've got the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. We've talked a lot about Micah Parsons this year. I mean, is he better than you thought he would be? Is he about the same as you thought he would be? Has he not lived up to, double-digit sacks or double-digit sacks? He seems like he's just a game wrecker, and he continues to just be a leader on this team. That's what I have observed. What have you observed from Micah Parsons this year?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think he's been about what I thought he would be, and I thought he was a really, really good player who would come in here and make a difference. And I wondered from day one whether, don't look so much at what he's doing in terms of stats or plays, but what kind of an impact is he going to have on others. And I think there's been a definite impact on guys like Rashawn Gary, and other guys on that defensive front and even at linebacker. So, and even in the secondary, I think when you have a guy like Micah Parsons on the field, it makes your cornerbacks and safeties look a little bit better. So I think he's had the impact that, I thought he'd have. I think there's more out there. And frankly, I think, this might be a guy that plays his best when the games are the biggest, which, we've got some big ones coming up. And if Micah Parsons can kind of be that dude starting tomorrow and in games against the Bears and at Denver, I think that's what they need. And then when, you want him healthy and playing his best going into the postseason. And then that's when playmakers make differences in games. That's how you win games in the postseason is when your stars show up. And, we know the Packers have one in Micah Parsons, and I think he's been everything. I think he's been every bit as good as advertised.
Jim, has this division lived up to your expectations? As it stands now, the collective win percentage is second only to the NFC West. But I think a lot of people felt like there'd be more dominant football being played in this division, and it hasn't quite happened yet.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a great team, right, guys? I mean, I think the Bears have been maybe a little bit better than I suspected, but also we're going to find out a lot about the Bears in the next 6 weeks. Detroit, I don't know. I kind of thought Detroit might take a little bit of a dip when you lose both coordinators. I think that's a pretty big adjustment. So maybe not surprising that they're not quite as good as they were last year. And then the Packers, I don't want to say they've been a disappointment, but, they're a 7-3-1 team that I feel like should have 2 more wins based on who they've lost to. The Tucker Kraft injury certainly makes me feel a little less stronger about their chances to go win a championship. And yet I think they're a good team. I think in this conference, in this NFC, there's a handful of good teams. I think the Packers are one of them. It's just kind of who can elevate themselves to being a great one. And again, we're going to see that over the next month and a half.
Jim, finally here, I just wanted to be able to congratulate you on being named, finalist for Sports Writer of the Year in the state of Wisconsin for the National Sports Media Awards. Congratulations, man!
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it. I'm humbled. I never take for granted. There's a lot of really good writers and sportscasters and radio people and everybody in this state. So to be even in the same breath as some of them, I find it humbling. I will say this too, like a columnist is only as good as the beat writers around him. And I've got some really great ones around me, and Colton Bartholomew and Todd Molesky and Michael McCleary. Those guys make me better with just them being around the teams they cover every day and giving me heads up on things and kind of help shape some of my knowledge about the team. So I'm an incredibly fortunate person, and thanks for saying that.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Jim Polzin. As they say, it's an honor just to be nominated, but of course we're rooting for our guy.
I'm a subscriber.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And our guy, Bill Schmidt, and Sportscaster of the Year.
Yeah, Billy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Billy's got a chance too. That was big.
Yeah. There we go. We broke the bell.
We
dinged the bell so many times we broke the bell, Jim.
Jim, we appreciate the time. Again, congratulations on the honor, and we will talk to you again next week. And happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right. You as well.
You too.
There he goes. Jim Polzin, as we wrap up things here on D.N.D. on this Wednesday, November 26th. Who are the other nominees? I didn't even see the nominees.
For the sports writer nominees, it is Adam McCalvey, Kurt Hogue, Jim Polzin, Matt Schneidman, and Todd Rosiak. So
that's a murderer's row.
Oh, just wait till we get to the sportscaster finalists, because there are 8 of them.
Polzin clears.
Yeah. But
I'm saying, listen, Jim is in that category.
Absolutely. But in the sportscaster finalists, we got Ashley Washburn from TMJ, Billy, of course, Bill Schroeder, Jeff Levering, Mark Tauscher, Matt LePay, Stephen Watson, and Tim Van Voren.
Again, murderers
row. Absolutely.
That's why you're nominated,
That's why they get nominated.
Yeah, but Billy Schmidt's part of it.
Of course he is.
Well, Billy.
We do post game for Packers and Badgers. That's gonna elevate your status.
And you're the host of No BS.
Ashley did a fantastic job.
Incredible.
Her feature stories are incredible, as well as her sideline work for the Packers television network during the preseason as well. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. on Packers Game Day, and then back here on Friday. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
I've never been so high. It's one of the best traditions in sports. Football on Thanksgiving.
It is a